before getting Me Too'd, and after.
You know what? I talked to your mayor.
Hey, we love that umbrella guy. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Hey there to all you fine folks. How's it going today? I hope everything is going well because, man, we got a big one today. I actually took notes for today. That's how prepped I am. I took 6 freaking pages of notes today to discuss what we are going to talk about because this is one that you can get many of them quote unquote right, but this one is it's a delicate discussion in a lot of ways where we're talking about one's mental health. We're also, I want to make something very clear when we discuss this too. When discussions of mental health, you're not giving somebody an out. There's a big difference. You're talking about understanding, you're talking about classification, but you are not talking about excusing. I mean, that's a big one. And for real, for this discussion today, I mean, literally, I took a screenshot of a couple of the pages just so I could describe it. I mean, no joke. Like I took a lot of notes for this to make sure that I got what they were saying right. I want to make sure to explain this right because even the fundamentals of personality disorder, a lot of people they don't understand like what's being discussed there. So I thought we would start all the way from the basics and we would walk our way forward. I think that's the best way to go about that. Before we start though, I want to mention something I think is very important, and that's our solution to industry problems, through our sponsor, which is me and you. So this is our comic book, 44 pages of all ages. That means for everyone, full color adventure. And when you're looking at that, comparing to a regular comic's about 18 pages without its advertisements, sometimes a little less. So, I mean, we're up doubling plus. Now, this is our third comic book that we've put together. You'll notice we're like 25 bucks off of a huge milestone yet again because we just keep rolling thanks to you. But yeah, if you want to check this out, you want to do something about the industry that empowers this, and just as importantly, they attack their customers. All of these industries, they think in entertainment that you owe them, and they have it backwards. They owe you something. When you walk away too, don't give up what was ours. You make sure that you keep it. So you help us out. Like I said, send a powerful message to them, and you'll get something. You get it. Plus, we've added in all the stretch goals here, so you got an army of free things that come along with it: cards, postcards, etc., stickers. This is the artwork from the venerable S.K. Bennett. He is definitely a powerhouse. I mean, look at his work. I love his freaking work. He is great. He was great in the last book. He's even better in this book. And if you're looking at it thinking, why is there an umbrella guy and a little umbrella girl? Well, that was the avatar for my daughter when she would pop in sometimes at 5. We started doing comic books together kind of as a family. You look at it, you get a detective noir adventure, solving paranormal adventures. For her, it's like, hey, that's me and my dad doing something. And the little one gets involved too. This is her artwork itself added on. I think it's a great thing that we can do, but we can also change industry. That's one of the major points to this stuff. You can look at it if you want to see exactly what it looks like in there. And again, if you're not into comic books, you can do one thing that Amber Heard and her cronies didn't do. You can support charity. You donate a book. Instead of getting it for yourself, you donate it outright. We will match that. We'll donate a book with it too. We'll march it ourselves we'll start at children's hospitals, and then we'll go from there. We'll see how far they go, but it'll be fun. It'll be good stuff. And again, I may mention that a couple of times, but I think that stuff's really important. All right. With personality disorders too. It's going to be our main focal point today. First, I'm going to explain what personality disorders are. I think I'm going to start at the very beginning to make sure that you understand the differences between, you hear cluster A, cluster B, cluster C, right? I mean, that's language that was used on the stand. They kept talking about cluster B, cluster B, cluster B. And a lot of people don't understand what that means. So to make that make sense, I found a very easy to understand diagram of cluster A, cluster B, cluster C, talking about different types of personality disorders. For your cluster A personality disorders, you're talking about like paranoid personalities, schizoid personalities, schizotypal personalities. Cluster C, you can see the breakdowns: odd thinking or eccentric behavior. Cluster C would have been severe anxiety or fear. That would be avoidant, dependent, or obsessive compulsive. And then smack dab in the middle of that, what we're looking at today, cluster B, dramatic or erratic behavior types. This is exactly where she falls. And Andrew, thanks for the 10 there. No statement, but plenty of statement. Catching a few super chats too while we go. Shabaka Wookie, thanks for the 7. I was today years old when I realized the figure running from an explosion is the lead singer of Japanese metal band. Pretty obscure. Love it. Amica. Seneca Chief, thanks for the 10. Hey there, Tug. This is for some DQ sweets for Lug and Bug. Thank you for that. And Syndicate Chief, thanks for the 2. What cluster is Vicky in? Well, you've never remote diagnosed. Like it's unethical to remote diagnose a person. Like I said, I made the distinction when I looked at the Amber Heard case. People were asking, what would she be diagnosed with? And like I said, I would have bet money on this diagnosis. I would have bet money on she was the professional that got up there. And again, there's going to be people online that are going to tell you they don't agree with that, and that's fine. That happens all the time. You have a lack of consensus in the mental health industry. By the way, when I'm talking about this, I am a diagnostician. I do it on the ground floor, though. You have people out there that, of course, they do private care. They do high insurance. Me, I work with the poor, the most needy. I work with Medicare, Medicaid. We do work with some private insurance, but I do a lot of work, like I say, with people on the ground, as it were. The most vulnerable populations. The people we've heard from are people that they get paid $100,000 a month for some kind of treatment. For us, yeah, That's pipe dream stuff, baby. But it's rewarding to help out people that need it, that very well need it. I'm not saying people that have money don't need it. It's just nice to be able to have people that truly need help get some help. Marty McFly, thanks for the 5. Put a trident in Amber. She's done. Enjoy your coverage. Hashtag justice for Johnny. Put a trident in her. I like that. He's done. Connie Van Loo, thanks for the 10 and the super sticker. Appreciate that. Oh, Rock and Ruin, thank you for the 100 there. Appreciate that. Congrats to the winner of the complete comic book series by That Umbrella Guy. I will let you choose the winner, Tug. Oh, good luck. Can I get some buttery toast before I sign off? You can, sure. I will play it in just a second, just for you, too. So, hey, when we're starting this off, by the way, we have the complete series of comic books. Let's do a giveaway real fast. We'll give away to some random person in the chat. The way that you can do this is just comment in the chat. Very simple. Just make a comment like, you can comment letters, numbers, I don't care. What I'll do is I'll give it a count to 3. I will randomly stop the chat on somebody, and that will be the winner. You can contact me at 2 words, granular, GRANULAR, heaven, HEAVEN, @gmail.com. So I'm going to start my countdown, then we're going to start commenting. So just go ahead and start commenting. I'm going to start the countdown now, though. This will give you time to get it. It'll look like craziness, and I want it to. I want it to look like Wheel of Fortune, basically. When it stops, we don't know where it'll stop, all right? So at 3, 2, and 1. And we are stopping right now. Hey, Real Pamster, what's up? Real Pamster, contact me. You can contact me on anything, and make sure to contact me through my email too, so I can catch up with you. And you have just won you a set of comic books, so that'll be awesome. That's cool too. Real Pamster, I'm glad to see you actually get it in there too. So that's cool. I was like, hey, wait, it's somebody I know. We'll probably have a couple of more giveaways in the next week as well. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, with the and thank you for Rock and Ruin. He supplied that. All right. So you can thank Rock and Ruin for that. I thought that was awesome. I don't know how to read that. Thanks for the 3 there. I have no idea what your name actually says. Can you tell me what that says, by the way? So I know I can see the hex in the middle, but I can't tell the rest of that. But thank you for the 3 and the fist bump. I wish I knew what that said. So here's the breakdown too of the different personality disorders, and I actually liked this because now again this is a basic breakdown, but you're going to have your 2 personality disorders that Amber Heard had attached to her. She had borderline and histrionic personality. Now, if you're wondering where that came from, by the way, they mentioned some of the diagnostic tools. Some of the diagnostic tools, of course, include the MMPI-2. Her team, by the way, they kept wanting to say, well, that's not the most recent, is it? That's not the most recent. Recent doesn't matter. The most relevant matters. The most researched matters. Those are the R's you should be looking for, not that other R, recent. So they kept trying to go with, this isn't the most recent diagnostic tool. The MMPI-2, by the way, is a 567 question questionnaire. You're going with agree or disagree statements. It's made to measure conscious and unconscious behavior. It's also made to look at truthfulness, or your conscious efforts to bias the test. And it also eliminates PTSD. PTSD is an important eliminator for Amber Heard, like a very important eliminator for Amber Heard, because she claimed PTSD. There was another scale that was used, the CAPS-5, as far as her claiming PTSD. Now, in that, she was asked you're asked statements on how many symptoms that you have, starting with 0 to 5. That's typical for your scaling for different things. She identified experiencing on those scales 19 out of 20 different symptom types. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. Well, let me take that back. The rarity of something like that happens, it would just be off. It would be off the scale. Those are made to find people that are experiencing. Again, diagnostic is an art as much as a science. You have the identifiers, but when you have the identifiers, you have to use a lot of other stuff, and you have to come to that diagnosis. For her noting 19 out of 20 at the beginning, that again says she's being untruthful. Hey, Jeanette, thanks for the 2 there. Loving your show. Regards from the UK. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Brian Christel. Hey, what's up, Brian, man? Thanks for the 5. I help run a depression bipolar support group, and we help nearly everybody except for people with BPD, which is often misdiagnosed. Oh, yeah, misdiagnosis of stuff like that. 1 second. Yes. What's going on? What's up? Tell me. What?
Well, Mom told Sissy to stay on a cushion on the couch, and she's not on it.
Oh, where after she spilled powder everywhere?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, go tell Mom. Why are you telling me?
I don't know where she's
I
at.
think she went outside on the porch for a minute.
Well, I looked, and she's not there.
Maybe she went upstairs. It's okay. Ask Sissy to get back on the couch, though, if you would, please.
I asked her.
Let's say you're out. She's a getter. Hey, what's up? Rock and Ruin. Thanks for additional 100 there. One more random giveaway because it's your Rock and Ruin. Yeah, we can do one more. Okay. Let's do one more giveaway while we're here because Rock and Ruin, hey, supporting another one. So if you want to do the same type of giveaway, let's do it again. Let's have fun with it. Let's do it again. That was the little one, by the way. That was my 8-year-old. Rock it down. So we're going to do another comment giveaway. The way we do this is very simple. You make comments, just A, Y, 1. It doesn't matter. In fact, if you push A bunch of times, like I can see your comments even if YouTube holds them to. Okay. So I see you commenting. So make short comments. That way you get in longer. Okay. So I'm going to count at the 3, at the 2, at the 1. I'll let everybody spin that sucker up. I got my eyes closed, so I just roll it backwards. All right. And at the 0. All right. Cheryl Marquise, Marchese. If you would contact me via my email at granularheaven@gmail.com, you're good to go. Hit me up. Make sure you hit me up. Okay. Thank you for that Rock and Ruin too, but make sure you hit me up. You are a winner. So I need to make sure that you are right there in it so I can save your contact information. All right. I love it. I love it. I love the chaos to it too, just to be honest. I love the fact that you can see how many people are here. By the way, if you're here, if you're part of the live stream, just do 2 simple things. Tell people we're live, number 1, and number 2, like the thing, like it. Just it'll help out. So with Burner Line, and thank you, Rock and Ruin. Seriously, Rock and Ruin has been a huge one. I have 2 big giveaways for this week too. 2 other ones that we're going to do. Somebody else has sponsored some giveaways as well. Ooh, so we'll do those as well. Borderline personality disorder, though. This is how it's going to be diagnosed here, and I'll tell you how she the lady who talked about it, Dr. Shannon Curry, she did a very good job of explaining it in layman's terms. Actually, I'll start with her layman term. She said, first of all, you got to understand what personality is. Personality is how we think or how we act. That's how we defined who we are, pretty much. We define it to the world. When you interact with me, you think, oh man, terrible dad jokes, and you think yelling kids in the background. No, I'm just kidding. You get a feel for who people are, what they put out into the world. Some people are very good at faking who they are and what they are as well. Now, the personality disorder is dysfunction in those traits. Dysfunction, by the way, is defined a few ways, but typically when you're thinking dysfunction, what you mean is someone's inability to interact in a, I'm not going to say positive manner. I think that's the wrong words, but in a manner conducive with societal norms and functioning. I think that's probably the better way to say it. They can't interact correctly around their fellow person. When you beat people and you manipulate them and whatnot, that's not the kind of interaction you want. Hey, Rock and Ruin, thanks for the 5 there. Post your email in chat. Can't find it. Later, I'm out. Yep. Okay. I'll post my email at the bottom too. Granular Evan at gmail.com. If anybody needs to contact me, if I don't write people back, by the way, I get a lot of emails. I read them, but I get I've been getting at some days I get 100 emails a day at some places, and I appreciate them. I read them all, but I don't respond to a lot of them. If I did, it would be with the word thanks, and it feels insult. I mean, I could do that. I could just say, "Hey, thanks for writing," but that almost seems dismissive. I just want people to know I do read your emails. Matt Bond, thanks for the 2. My mom had BTD, doc prescribed perfectly to the T. Yeah, when you're looking at Roxy Jean, thanks for the 5. Any idea or source info on why Christian Carano fell out with AH and JD? It was, he stopped working with them. JD was having a lot of issues over time with career and stuff, and I'm sure they just had a falling out, and they're not working together anymore. So after you have all of that, I mean, you're going to have a separation in it. But I did find it fascinating that Christian Carino, even with that, still testified positively for JD. Hey, thanks for the 5. Having gone through post-traumatic stress after being held a hostage. Wow. I see it in JD's manners, some old videos. Can't see it in AH. That's rough too. Yeah, personality. I was saying, okay, so with PTSD, again, there are a lot of tests to eliminate, and you've got to make sure that you don't get that. That's actually a good thing. I'm glad you brought up, because Amber Heard claimed 3 after she was re-examined, she claimed nightmares, being held down, essentially. She doesn't know what they stem from, but she also was reporting those more from childhood all the way up. I always wonder, by the way, she claimed that her father was an abuser. I always wondered, did she throw her, if you see them interact with their father, they have a relationship that, well, like I said, it makes me wonder, did they really have anything go on there? Or did they throw him under the bus too? You know, um, again, yeah, you have no idea how to really know that either. But she claimed nightmares, heightened startle sense, and also heightened arousal. That's what she ended up with. But she also, in one of the scales that test for whether or not you're lying about PTSD, she tested into the 98th percentile. So malingering, as you'll hear quite often, the the untruthfulness, 98th percentile. Yeah, that sends up warning bells. Again, her indicating 19 out of 20 issues on any kind of test, that would indicate a problem too. Now with borderline, first of all, the one we were looking at right here, what you have to remember right off the bat is the instability as underlined by terror of abandonment. Like, that is the big key to borderline personality disorder. It is the fear of being abandoned. Now, here's your breakdown to it. It's categorized by ongoing pattern of instability in self-image, varying moods, impulsive behavior, problems with relationships. It is overestimated, in my opinion. That is estimated to be in 1.6% of the general population. I believe it's over diagnosed. And also, here's the thing about people. There is no diagnosis. I'm just going to say this very bluntly. There is no diagnosis that says that person over there is a cold-hearted bee and they will burn your life down in a heartbeat. There is no diagnosis that will say that and be that blunt. There is always something. Again, these are cue identifiers. They are not excusers. The person, they didn't ask for help. Amber Heard did not ask for help with this stuff. She was diagnosed because the court made this come up. Alec, thanks for the 5. Greg Ellis shared on Twitter. AH's new PR is run by CEO David Shane from the Shane Communications. Guess we'll see how they try to make her look good. Yeah, well, her old PR too. I probably will do a video on her PR people from the past and the future, just to show you how nasty they've been too. And she's failing right now in PR. That's why she's panicking. But so the keys to this. There are a lot of extreme behaviors. Now they talk about, what can lead to that. That can be traumatic life events in early childhood, abuse, abandonment, or adversity. People who have close family members with BPD, they're more likely to develop that as well because of social, your social modeling. Again, there's discussion about whether that's genetic. There are some genetic issues that come with that makeup, but a lot of it comes with modeling as well. Like I said, they don't know where that comes from. But for the diagnosis to occur, you have to have 5 or more of the following present. Desperate efforts to avoid abandonment, real or imagined. Now that, you've got to think of it this way, and you see this in her behavior a lot. You have people that will perceive a slight, however slim, or maybe even non-existence, and they will blow it up to the point that it's a reason to be reactive. And the reactiveness is not a reactiveness in any confined that you would see in typical behavior. Like you and I, like if we get mad about something, we may have a cool off period, or maybe we'll blow up for a minute, get mad, yell about something, and then it'll go away. These people, they exaggerate it, and they do it all the time. It's very hard to be around. You also have to remember that there is a sophisticated level of understanding with people with these issues. You're not talking about, like, say, someone with schizophrenia who doesn't understand what they're doing. You have a sophisticated level of understanding. They have a sophisticated way of minimizing their own self-blame or their own self-problems. They don't see it in themselves. It's a networking way of being able to blame it on everyone else. 2012, thanks for the 2 there. I've been diagnosed 100% a-hole, y'all. I concur. Shamaka Wookie, thanks for the 5. In cat lady voice and attitude, please. PTSD, I can't do her voice. PTSD is one event, and CPSD is prolonged event, correct? Didn't you get your Amica cream, mega pipe, muffin on your couch? I can't do her voice, though. She's so nasty. I can't sound like, I'm sorry, but I can't sound like an old bitter shrew. I just, my voice doesn't go there. It can go a few places, but I can like do a Valley Girl, but I can't do an old bitter shrew. I'm sorry. Also, and here again, you need 5 of these to diagnose. And again, you have to eliminate. You can diagnose people with a lot of things, but you have to get closest. So you have a pattern of unstable or intense relationships that alternate between idealizing and devaluing. Hey, I hold you up on a pedestal. You are the best thing in the world. Look at Amber Heard's discussion. I'll drop a video in the next day or 2 that combines about 3 pieces of video with her faking abuse in it. She actually fakes abuse in one, but she's also going through, her holding someone up, not letting them leave with JD versus devaluing a fat old man, piece of garbage, washed up, that's where they go. Marked instability in self-image or sense of value. Now, you see that a lot in reports about some of the things that she does to maintain that sense of value. Rocket Ruin. Thanks for the additional 100. How about one more giveaway because I'm tipsy? Okay, it's bedtime later, everyone. All right, let's do one more giveaway. One more comic giveaway. We'll do it. We'll do it right now just because it's fun. This is sponsored by Rocket Ruin. If you're here, you just popped in. All you got to do is comment. Just keep commenting. A, B, whatever you do. But we're going to do it. I'm going to give a countdown. I'm going to give you 5 seconds because I just said that. 5, 4, 3. I love this. 2, 1. And we are stopping now. Sunshine, what's up? Hit me up. Granular, GRANULAR, Heaven, HEAVEN, @gmail.com. I will log that, and when we get done, boom, we got you a set too. Thank you, Rock and Ruin, for sponsoring that, and thank you all for participating in it too. These will be popping up all week because, like I said, I got 2 more for sure. You never know what someone else will bring up too. That's the fun thing about being here live. All right. So, instability in behavior. All right. Again, hey, May, thanks for the 10. Was talking to my mom about this case, shared one of the best clips I saw. Man, and I think it freaked her out slightly by knowing so much about the case. She was like, "Why do you know this?" Well, that's true. I mean, I have, I was on Flashcast the other night, and people were like, "You're obsessed with this case." Yeah, I'm obsessive compulsive. I am. I would be diagnosed with that these days. And in looking at something, it's kind of nice to be able to look at something and understand it. It's also somebody has to explain what's happening here, and that's the problem. The media doesn't do that anymore. The media would assign a person in the past to all of this. They would assign one person to this case. They would talk about it to the nth degree, and they don't do that anymore. They do it to some cases if they have high value for them, but they don't in this case, which, like I said, is very telling too. All right, so they have the marked instability, like I said, in self-image, impulsivity in at least 2 areas that are potentially self-damaging. When you think about marked impulsivity, impulse buying, impulse spending, and again, you don't take one of these or a few of these and say, "Yo, that's me." You need a professional to help you along these paths, okay? Just to say, don't ever think just because you share some of this or a few of these that this behavior it fits you. People are complex. They are very complex, and none of this stuff is meant for a self-evaluation or self-diagnostic tool. And if this is you, if you have been diagnosed with something, don't think that you're Amber Heard either. Okay. I want you to understand that too. You are not her. All right. You are your own person. And if you're trying to receive help with this kind of stuff, if you notice this in yourself, awesome. Never let any of this pull you down and say that you're not worthy of something in some way. Rapid changes in mood lasting. Oh, wait, the most important, I missed this one. I almost missed that. And that is a very important distinction with her. A timer on the chat. No, I don't like timers on the chat. I'll put on the spam chat thing though, but I don't like a timer on the chat where people can't comment. I like the chaos. I like looking there and being like, "Whoa, look at all that insanity in the comments." I like it to look like there's thousands of people, which there are. There are about 2,000 of you that have popped up on just a random Sunday to talk about the insanity in somebody, and I think it's fun. But I will turn on the subscribe only thing real fast while we're talking about this, just because you get a lot of spam bots that get attracted to this stuff. So I will turn that on. But yeah, when you look at the reoccurrent suicidal gestures, the suicidal behavior, threats, self-mutilation behaviors. Now, again, that can be a lot of different diagnostics, but I want to make this very clear, but that does not mean that everyone that shows that is that diagnosis, okay? Like very, very clear in there. Like you'll find a lot of diagnosis where there's self-harm that you see. There's a lot of people that end up self-harming in a lot of different reasons. I mean, you can have that with mood disorders. You can have it with all kinds of stuff. So again, when you look at that, I don't want you to think that just because she has this diagnostic criteria that's somehow indicative of, oh man, every person that self-harms, they're this. No way. No way, no way, no way. Like I said, that's a very important distinction or a very important portion of the discussion to it. So you have rapid mood changes. So rapid mood changes lasting a few hours or rarely more than a few days. Now you'll see that misdiagnosed. That's one of the biggest issues that becomes misdiagnosed in behavior. People with rapid cycling moods, just because again, you have a rapid cycling mood does not mean that you have this, nor does it mean that you're bipolar. there's a heavy issue with misdiagnosis with this versus something like, say, bipolarism. And the reason for that is because it's easy to misdiagnose. You have to rely, like if you go in to a therapist, for example, you go in and you're talking to a therapist about something, that therapist has to take you at your word. I mean, that's a big portion of it. They have to actually listen to you. They have to believe what you say. I mean, they're there for your advocacy. Shabaka Wookie, thanks for the 7 there. BPD, anger is real. My dad put me in therapy after I destroyed my 5th grade classroom. Yeah, I learned to cope, handle, and avoid. I can flip like a switch. And that's the thing. If you notice it and you actually get help for that, that's a positive thing, just to be honest. That is a very positive thing. So that's something I think that should be commended. There are a lot of people, when they look at this, one of the things that really bothers me about this diagnosis is that there are people that go in and they try to get help. They try to get help. And in other settings, there are some people they end up diagnosed because you don't know why they end up there. You have no idea. Hey, next boy, thanks for the 5. Did you see AH's workout bull crap? It clearly Eve Fartlow, who's the insider. Oh, yeah. She's actually being contacted. Their legal team is referring people to Eve Barlow to make comments. Big PR move. Even the last line of the article didn't make sense. Yeah, that's been their big kicker. By the way, Server Rosa, thanks for the $17.99. We need to be sure of the state that none of the behaviors reflect on any others with similar diagnosis. Yes, that is very sure. One person is not the other. Categorization is for a mental health professional. Categorization is not for the world to look at and say, oh my God, look at this person. They're just like this other person. Therefore, that doesn't help in any way, shape, or form. So that is actually a very good note, And we also have inappropriate, intense anger or problems controlling anger. Yeah, you see that. You see that where she spins on a dime. She spins out of control, and she spins out of control and quickly. I mean, it's scary to watch, just to be honest. I think it's absolutely scary to watch when you see that behavior. And then you have temporary paranoid thoughts or severe dissociative symptoms triggered by stress. I don't know what the hell stress is. Now, that again, could you see paranoid thoughts? Yeah. But again, I would say like there's 5 in here that you probably nailed on. And the MMPI is helping with the judgments in that. Now, remember with that diagnosis, remember you have they're desperate to stop the fear of abandonment. Again, the diagnosis is underlined by the fear of abandonment. And it's a terror. I mean, a terror is probably the better word than a fear. The terror of abandonment and going out of your way to stop it in any way possible. Again, it's extreme. The kid has ODD. Was allotted younger. Now 18, has learned to work through it. Yeah, ODD. You have a oppositional defiance, and all of the anger type. You can learn valuable coping skills. Personality disorders are harder because it is ingrained into the very fabric of who you are. You have to really work to change that. You have to really work hard on it. But again, your mind, the way a person's mind with this works is they feel like they're going to be abandoned all the time. And you have another part that links into this. So again, this is not meant to excuse behavior, just to understand behavior. You have, again, the harming others or self-harm. That's a kicker, harming others. And it is part of harming others. People with BPD, they oftentimes will physically abuse other people. You see a high link between physical abuse of others. And on top of it, if the other person tries to step out of line, you see a high link between, or high correlation between that and threats of using the legal system with claims of false abuse. So your false accusers, they oftentimes fall into this. Take Ferret Forgets, thanks for the 5. Aqua Hags PR team is pouring money into silencing Captain Jack's support. Can she even have a meaningful career after this? No, she's done. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what her PR team says or Hollywood says, anyone else. What really matters are the people that put the money in. That's what customers need to wake up and realize. They need to wake up and realize they are powerful. When I mean powerful, I am talking about to the extreme, baby. To the extreme. That is a very good question, a very good point there. So, you also, through that, okay, you had different people make notes. You had Dr. Cowan, for example, talking about her temper and her reactivity. Her temper, her reactivity. Dr. Cowan, by the way, went on record as being pro Amber Heard because you know what? All these doctors, they're not physical doctors. This is the distinction. Her physical doctor was the doctor we already heard from, the doctor that was there in Australia, the one that didn't see her in that moment. All the other people, the shrinks, they are her advocates. That is by default. When you go into, if you come in and you're doing therapy and you come in to see me, by default, I'm your advocate. And as the as Shannon Curry said, it's almost unethical. A lot of people, they do perceive it as unethical. I think it's unethical. If I get up on the stand and say that you were abused in a situation and you told me because you told me that in therapy, that is unethical because it is my job to believe you. In that instance, I am supposed to listen. I am supposed to believe because that is supposed to help you. I have to take you at your word. I can't just say, oh, I can look at some of your now. There are limits to that. If I look at some of these claims, if you're like, this guy punched me in the nose and broke my nose, it's lopsided, oh my God, a piece of it fell off, and I looked there and I don't, none of that's there, then yeah, I need to define that, or I'm sorry, I need you to define what that means. And if you truly believe that happened, then we have a problem. We have a very big problem. And some of that will point back to the type of person making those claims. But they'll as far as abuse is concerned, or as far as physical abuse is concerned, people like with that diagnosis, you'll often see taking other people's behavior, finding a fault in it, again, no matter how slight that is, and they'll blow up. They'll explode. That's literally with the wording there. They will explode. But you see, Nurse Filati, anger, coping. That's what they talked about. Again, that's somebody that was on her side. Dr. Hughes talked about she has a history of cutting and self-harm. She denied this. This was a fascinating little disclosure. When they showed the pictures where she was supposedly harmed, they said that she had no history of self-harm. And yet in her own doctor notes, there is disagreement with that. So I thought that was fascinating. Let's see, Christine, thanks for the 5 there. I have a diagnosis for AH. Arrogant, misandrous, bullying, egotistical, reprehensible. Amber, the Amber personality disorder. That's funny. Okay, now as far as the other diagnosis that was thrown out as well, and we'll go over now. As far as, let me see, I think I have a couple of other things that I pulled up with this too. All right. There were some questions about bipolarism versus borderline, right? Because a lot of people were bringing up the fact that, well, that, some of that, how do we tell the difference? All right. Well, there's a handy dandy little example of this. I think that actually explains it. Borderline versus bipolarism. In borderline, you see the mental illness marked with severe emotional dysregulation, mood swings, depressive impulsivity, unstable personality relationships. Again, we talked about what was there. Treatment, how do you treat? You treat it through such as the DBT. If you want to know about treatment types, by the way, you can look those up because she's not getting treatment. All right. So I'm not going to go into how you treat her because she's not willing to treat herself. So it doesn't matter. Now, when you take that and you compare it to bipolarism, which she was diagnosed with bipolarism, she was actually given that at one time, I believe. You'll have therapists too. Again, as somebody that is your advocate, they oftentimes will not diagnose you with a personality disorder. Oftentimes, they will misdiagnose you at first. And part of that, the thing that you see, there are a lot of people that were very confused about how diagnostic inventory works versus diagnosis. There were people that, like Shannon Curry, spent 12 hours looking over all of her notes, all of the exterior stuff, doing the personal interviews, looking at everything she had available. And there were people saying 12 hours isn't enough. If you go into a mental health clinic, you will be diagnosed within a typical intake takes an hour and 45 minutes. Then you'll probably have a med intake as well. Like this is, if you see a shrink, it's all boiled into one, and it typically takes about an hour and 30 minutes. But if you went in, say, Medicare or Medicaid, you're probably going to see it broken down into pieces. You're going to see a therapist first. They're going to do some kind of intake. It's going to take an hour and 45 minutes. You get a diagnosis then. Then soon enough, you're going to do a med intake if it's warranted, if it's needed. That med intake, that will take typically, it can take an hour and a half depending on the place, but typically you're talking an hour. And really the diagnostic parts in both of them are finished within an hour. So regardless. So you really have 2 hours of complete diagnosis set there. And then it will be furthered through meetings. People will, give and take. You'll also you'll probably be assigned to a care, it depends on where you live. They'll be called case management or care management. Those folks, they'll look into your life a little bit more, but they do not have the ability to diagnose. So a diagnosis in most states, by the way, it's just it's not a degree specific thing. You don't have to be licensed as long as you're under someone that has licensure. So master's degree in specific fields will allow you to diagnose as long as you have somebody that's looking over it. Just a note too. Hey, Brad, thanks for the 5 Tug. How can I receive your services? I have Medicare Advantage. Thank you for the hard work you do. I love it. For myself, I typically, if you come to a place that I work, like I don't throw my workplace out there because there'll be about 400 million fools that'll try to destroy it. I'll tell you this, like it with us talking about this and you finding it through that, typically I wouldn't do that. Now, if you need to find a provider, if you're in the same state as me, I could probably help you find a provider if you want to contact a good provider, and get you somebody. But for myself, it might be a conflict of interest anyway, just because of the things that we do there. And like I said, I'm very hesitant to name. The only reason I talk about what I do is because people dox that. But when they did, they thought they had my correct workplace. And this was with a smaller thing. When I was talking about the Vic Mignogna stuff, one of the people that was involved making the false accusations against Vic Mignogna, they told people when a workplace name came out, they told them to check on it and make sure that it was real. And that place, it was harassed for, well, over 24 hours, but for the first 24 hours, no one could call at all. No one could receive support. So I wouldn't necessarily do that, but if you're in my same state, you can write me, granularheaven@gmail.com. And if you're in the same state area, I can see about referring you to a provider if you'd like to do that. But like I said, the harassment, it's not fair to clientele, that level of insanity. Whew. Raquel, thanks for the 5. Hey, Tug, and wonderful Tug-knots. Tug-knots. That's why they call them tug-knots or tugs. I have a jar of dirt, and guess what's inside? H's soul. Enjoy your day or night. H's soul. That's hilarious. Matt Fields, thanks for 20. All that is necessary for evil to succeed is for good men to do nothing. Thank you for all you do and work on this. False accusations against a righteous man can do destroy them. Yeah, false accusations are some of the nastiest stuff. We've talked about, why these are so bad. And that's because they don't just destroy lives, they damage other people's lives indirectly. And what I mean is other survivors, just even people that have never had anything happen to them, but they choose to look in on this. It damages their ability to empathize with other people that are survivors of the same thing, because nobody wants to believe anyone because they're afraid of false accusation. And false accusation is much more prevalent than people want to admit. You have all these crazy weirdos simping for Amber Heard, trying to say that rarely happens. Oh, it happens quite a bit. The thing is, we have no real scale to determine. Here's the complexity with accusations like this. Most people are going to flip out a phone and record when something like this happens. Obviously, they're not going to just in the moment. This is something that happens with like intimate partner violence. Oftentimes, it will not be recorded on anything. That's a double-edged sword. For the person that survives it, and for the person that's there if it's a false accusation. On the other side of it, if you're talking about one extreme happening, of course, nobody's going to in that moment record it. So again, it's hard to have justice for it's hard to get justice, and it's hard to get justice for either set there. So it's a complex matter worsened by people like AH. Now, thanks for the super chat. If they're enabled by everyone, if they're enabled by everyone always, can they recognize they need help? Typically, it's even worse than that. First of all, no. And even worse than that, if it's your personality, okay, bipolarism here, for example. In bipolarism, you can see the evidence that there's something wrong. But if we're talking about the very foundations of who you are, your personality, if your personality traits have been developing through youth, and you're now, say, a 35-year-old adult, that's going to be very hard to recognize that there are issues. And, again, someone like Amber Heard, like I said, they have a sophisticated method of minimizing problems. The blame that they put on others, it's not something like you see from again, if we look at the clusters in this, it's not something that you see from, say, a cluster. Give me 1 second. I'm pulling this up. I'm pulling it up twice. I want to be able to talk about the histrionic, but I also want to be able to pull up the cluster thing. All right, so the thing that we see here with cluster personalities, again, it's not the same thing you see like with a schizoid or schizotypal personality disorder. You have people that have odd thinking. You can see that. Odd meaning that it does not line up with the way you see reality. People may see words floating in the air. They may see, they can't agree with you on the fundamentals of what reality is. The thing that we all agree that reality, the sky's a certain color, your tongue's not coming out of your forehead. I mean, just strange things that you'll see because of visual or auditory hallucinations. Again, miswiring of the brain. Versus that, like the cluster B folks, they have a very sophisticated way of minimizing blame and shifting it to someone else. Brad Patterson, thanks for the 2. Really appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate you. You guys were asking about this stuff. I know that it's a bigger pool for to cover other things sometimes. Like, ooh, let's cover this that's happening in Hollywood. But I think it's important to understanding the fundamentals of a person like Amber Heard. It's very important, especially from a diagnostic level. Let's see. Leslie, thanks for the 5 and that super sticker. Appreciated that. Or Jim, thanks for the 3 there and the fist bump. Thank you for that. Give me a drink real quick, and then we'll continue with Histrionic. All right. So we're two. Again, we'll loop back as we move forward. We'll continually loop back and forward to talk about this. But the other portion, histrionic. Now, if you want to think about this, so for BPD, again, think about the underlying behavior, the underlying personality disorder. It is marked by a fear, again, or a terror, even better word, terror of abandonment. With oh man, I had to get a drink there. With histrionics, you're talking about drama. This is drama here. We're talking about shallowness. You know, they have the depth of you've met people with the personality depth of a mud puddle, right? I'm sure you have. I'm sure you've met people like that. Well, this is what we have here. We have people with the personality depth of a freaking mud puddle. So if we're looking through histrionics, you got to think these are folks that, again, it's the same cluster B. So it's all coming from that. You're talking about dramatics, high drama, erratic behavior. And the drive that you see with this is a drive to always be the center of attention. Now, there's nothing wrong with being the center of attention. Some people you just gravitate toward, right? Other people, though, you see this especially focused on looks. You will see people that, you have a high correlation between the beautiful people. Oh no, I mentioned Marilyn Manson again. Oh no, what's happening? What's happening to me? I just mentioned the beautiful people. The beautiful people. The beautiful people. Oh my God. No, but you see the pretty folks out there, and you see a high linkage between that and histrionic personality disorder. Now the issue with that and being the center of attention, how do you get it? Like that's a big problem. You'll see a lot of the princess archetypes. They're in there. The pretty princess, I've got to be the center of attention. I'm the best and most wondrous and wonderful. On the other side of that, you'll also see the victim archetype. And that is where things get really bad. Because again, look at how much attention. If you really want to see how well this works, go and look at posts from people online. Actually, look at Amber Heard's post when this first started, when she was declaring to the world that she was a victim of Johnny Depp. Look at how much attention and how much backing she got. She plays at the idea, and also even more than that. Look how people now no longer question you. Like Amber Heard used to be the other archetype. She would be the vapid beauty that uses, again, when you put these two together, you're talking about utilization of sex, bad decisions and that, because we're talking about decision making, with the other. So when you get into the reckless behavior, the unsafe sex, the sexualization is a weapon almost to keep you at the center of attention for not just one person, but the world. People would call that out sometimes. Now they won't call you out though on the other side of that when you start talking about being a victim. You've gone from working your way around Hollywood in one of the worst, one of the shortcut methods. People don't like it when they can see that you've taken a shortcut to success. If you're slipping your way to the top, people don't like that. They don't like it because they feel like, hey, what about me? They don't see you getting it on skill or merit. People hate that when merit is actually discounted. And you could see that in a lot of the behaviors before, but when people start taking on the role of that victim persona or the victim role, that's different. That's different. People empathize with that, and they automatically empathize oftentimes. You especially see that from people that they themselves have been victimized, because they see themselves in that, and it's ugly because it impacts the way it does. Natalie, thanks for the 5 there. I'm an inpatient psych nurse on a military base. We have to worry about BPD. Ooh, man. Staff splitting. Yes, they're exhausting. Yes, you end up with that. You end up with it for sure. Yeah, you have people that'll come in and they'll manipulate and coordinate. You have people that also, they don't, like, when you put these two together, they don't care about anything but themselves. Like, ultimately, it's all about them. You see, you don't hear us statements. You hear I statements all the time now. What does that mean, by the way? It's not about like relationships. And that doesn't just mean in marital relationships, but other relationships as well, friend relationships. You hear people talk about us versus I. Now, I statements, if you make you statements, like when you're pointing the finger and you're angry, that's blaming someone else too. You'll hear a lot of that as well. You statements in argument, but I statements in reaping the benefits, or, whatever's going on, vulnerabilities, insecurities, talking about, again, benefits. Shabaka Woogie, thanks for the 279. Guilty, case in point. Thanks for your patience. I enjoy it, actually. We're having fun with the stuff. So, histrionic personality disorder. Again, we're just going to read through this right here. People with histrionic personality disorder act in a very emotional and dramatic way that draws attention to themselves. Now, again, you have to remember, being personality, being the center of attention, it doesn't always mean like you're not getting it off of a personality that's fun to be around necessarily. Again, a pretty person, they can draw you into that, but then how do they maintain it? If you're drawn by looks alone will keep you there for a little while, but how do you maintain that? That's also why the other side of that, the other personality disorder attachment, the borderline personality disorder attachment, is so dangerous in this too, because you have people that when you're finally like, yeah, I'm going to pull away from this person that I thought I was attracted to as the center of attention. Well, they will wreck your lives sometimes for it. They'll take anything as pulling away, and it's exhausting. Like a last chatter there said, it is an exhausting thing to deal with. In a relationship, especially, though, it is beyond exhausting to deal with. You see some of the worst behaviors there. Give me 1 second. I gotta grab a note. I left a note set on my chair. I'm just walking across the room. I ain't gotta go anywhere. So I'm gonna grab it right here. Like I said, I make generalized cue points for this. Typically, I don't make notes because I have a topic that I'm talking about, but for this, I wanted to make notes. So, the prevalence of histrionic personality disorder ranges from less than 1%, 3% population. Again, is there an overdiagnosis? Yes. There's also mental health is such a weird thing because classification is meant for treatment. It's not meant to just randomly discuss people's lives. So typically, this is kind of different. You're going to get cases that'll come out where you can talk about some stuff. And you're also going to have, there are people on the other side of this that love to scream about how this isn't fair because this is just a way to blame women. You hear that a lot. No, these personality types are much more prevalent in women. Much more prevalent, because if you look at the type of behavior here, if you think about a male doing this with other men, this wouldn't fly. It just doesn't fly. The way that we societally perceive females, these personalities, they work for people's benefits to a point, and then the behavior in the aftermath. I'm not saying that a male can't be diagnosed with that, but yes, you're going to see this much, much more in women than in men, because societally, we just, In individual relationships, think about this behavior and think about seeing it from men. You're not going to see the same type of manipulation. Like if there's a manipulator in a relationship that's a male, it comes across differently. It comes across much differently, and oftentimes, you see violence that is different too. If there's violence in the relationship, how it comes about, not necessarily the end result of the violence, but how it comes about, how the blame is issued. Again, we also, just to be blunt about it, we also excuse behavior like this more in a like if we were looking at both people here, Johnny Depp would be called a monster if this behavior was prevalent in him, and the abusive behavior would have been there. I'm not saying it is. I don't believe that. I'm just saying if you look at these two people, you have people that are ready to excuse Amber Heard almost because of, well, look at this. This is somehow tied to their mental health. This is somehow tied to their psyche. It's much easier to try to explain away in some way. Dana, thanks for the super chat there. Is that the connection between BPD and Munchausen syndrome by proxy? I actually saw a report about something that was along those lines. And let me see if I can find it very fast. Because you're talking about factitious disorders, and fictitious disorder by proxy, you're going to have association with BPD. But there was a good article on that. Let me see. I think it was in this was in the clinical innovations in clinical neuroscience, I believe. It's called, if you want to look this up, I believe it's called The Relationship Between Fictitious Disorder and Borderline Personality Disorder. So it's case survey, it's case study. So if you want to look that up, but yes, you're going to have discussion in there about Munchausen's by proxy. Like I said, it's a fascinating conversation, and I think case studies will show you much more what you're talking about. All right, so give me a minute, pull this down. So causes of, they're unknown. Like again, we have no idea. We have no idea why a lot of this stuff. We have a lot of guesswork on what factors in as causing dysfunction in personality. Or when I say dysfunction, I should probably say that as personality disorder. Again, personality disorder literally means dysfunction. So, yeah, we have no idea what causes that. You can not tell it. Thanks for the $14.99. My partner, who is now diagnosed with BPD, was told he couldn't be BPD. Only females could be BPD. He's antisocial because he's male. What the hell? No, that's true. That's not true. Like in that, it's much more prevalent with diagnosis. Like here, for example, diagnosed more often. Now, again, this is histrionic, but still, it's the same type of thing. You have doctors believe more men have the disorder than are diagnosed. Men are, like you're talking about, men are much more likely to be diagnosed with something else because societal viewpoints, and that societal viewpoint becomes part of therapeutic viewpoint too. People that are practicing, they become swayed by quote unquote classical reasoning, et cetera, et cetera. So histrionic personality disorder, noted to begin late teens, early 20s. Now you have again 5 present. They did much more than just saying, when you talk about 5 present, there are huge lists of testing methods that people can utilize to get to these outcomes. So just you saying, hey, this is me, that don't self-diagnose. All right. I want to warn people about that. Do not self-diagnose, because what you'll do, it's just like if you self-diagnose if you went on if you if you go online and you diagnose health problems, like physical health problems, what do you end up with? You end up with diagnostics that never fit. But 5 or more. Feeling uncomfortable in situations where they're not the center of attention, and again, you're not talking about a rational feeling here. You're talking about somebody that will do anything to maintain that viewpoint. I think they need it. They have to have it. So it's not just like a small level of discomfort that we're talking about. We are talking about extreme levels of discomfort, extreme details. Actually, I saw a good graph I'll bring up with this as well in just a minute. So you have the interaction with others, often characterized by inappropriate sexual, seductive, or provocative behavior. You see that a lot with Amber Heard. You hear it reported a lot by many just random people out there. I mean, it's weird to see randos, like a mechanic, for example, a mechanic that's saying, "Hey, I went to go fix her car. Guess what happened to me?" So, I mean, again, I think that's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. You uh, you have you have the rapid shifting and shallow expression of emotions. Again, like I was saying, they're about as they're about as deep as a mud puddle. You've probably heard people say that. This person is about as deep as a mud puddle. I remember hearing that quite a few times when I was growing up about specific people. It's true. Some people have the emotional range of a mud puddle. That rapid shifting emotions too. That can be taxing. Like if you listen to her audio, I mean, it shows. It shows very well. Consistently use physical appearance to draw attention to self. Again, high correlation between this and physical appearance. Has a style of speech that is excessively impressionistic, lacking in detail. Now you notice that lacking in detail, they you'll hear this in some of the audio recordings. I'm going to put together, like I said, I've got a video that it's pretty much ready to go where she fakes abuse claims in it, but she also she makes all of these statements that they're not true statements. Again, they're beneficial statements, let's just say. Self-dramatization, theatrically exaggerated expressions. You've seen the exaggeration of expressions, like, repeatedly. Even in the courtroom, you see that. You see the self-dramatization, though, and the theatricality. You see that, you can hear it in the audio. I mean, you can very well hear it in the audio. It's just, whew, man. Suggestible, easily influenced by others. Considers relationships as more intimate than they really are. Huh. Like I said, you look at all this stuff and you look at Amber Heard, you see a lot of criteria that they can hit. And here's a perfect diagnostic. It's not. Give me one second. I'll pull this up. So here's the perfect picture of that. Characterized by long-standing patterns of attention-seeking behavior, extreme emotionality, wants to be the center of attention, have difficulty when people aren't focused expressly on them. You're going to walk away from arguments. Oh my God, you're killing me. You're killing me. It shows. It shows the big time. I thought that was a perfect, the princess archetype when we're talking about it. That's That's what you see in a lot of the Amber Heard fights. And people like this, they believe that they can do anything to their fellow person and still walk away from it as the person that benefits. It's 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 insane to deal with. Like in your personal life, dealing with something like this wouldn't just be exhausting. It would be something that you have to ask after a while, is anyone worth dealing with this? Is anyone at all? Would they be worth dealing with that level? And absolutely not. After a while, people start saying, no, I don't want to. I don't want to deal with this person. I have no more left in me. I can't deal with it anymore. And you can understand why. Like I said, after a while, how can you? how can you feel like you maintain any level of relationship, any level of sanity with that too? I mean, my God, you have somebody like that that's just beating you down, pushing you and pushing you. How do you ever feel like that? How do you ever feel like that's gonna work out? Now, in part of this too, in the friend sphere, where they talked about the friend grouping. Give me a second. I want to pull this back up. Look at how she treats her friend. This is why the relationships go to hell really quickly. I mean, if you're looking at the instability in patterns of relationships, Raquel Pennington, all these people seem broken when you put them together. They seem like terrible people to throw up on the stand together, because at the end of the day, they abuse one another. They beat on one another. They don't just feed on one another, they beat on one another. They do, like I said, they do outlandish, almost crazy things. And I don't mean that as a mental health, oh, crazy. I'm talking about the behavior is just it's something that is so outside societal norms that you have to think, what in the world? Like, how do these folks, they maintain any kind of relationship? And you see that broken people attracting broken people too. You have Amber Heard, who is a broken person, attracting other broken people, and that's just phew. Now the false claims, like I said, she wanted to make this about PTSD. She wanted to say that let me pull this up. So PTSD versus personality disorder. PTSD. I see. Here's a good one. Complex personality disorder, or complex PTSD and personality disorder. There have been some interesting studies on it, where they're saying, these they could have overlap. They could seem like the same thing sometimes to a provider, but they're not the same thing. They're not at all. I mean, if you look at how often that this pops up, if you look at what underlying conditions or underlying factors actually lead to that, they are not at all the same thing. But a lot of people that have that, they may be confused. In self-report, you can have people that are confused, but most of the times that's a manipulation tactic. And in distinguishing, there's actually some very good articles that talk about distinguishing between the differences between it. You have articles, for example, I'm looking at one right now. I was going to see how easy it is to express to a layperson, but it talks about distinguishing PTSD, complex PTSD, and borderline personality disorder. So how do you look at them and tell the differences between them when people are making claims. And you know what? As a provider, again, it can be hard. It can be very difficult to do that. And providers, a lot of providers will make mistakes. We typically, like for myself, for example, we don't do a lot of personality diagnoses. We don't see as much of that. We do see some of that, but we don't see as much of that with people that are coming in because they're self-reporting problems. So when you first come in, you're not going to hear about that. That's why I was overdiagnosed. Yeah, you see overdiagnosis too. You remember diagnostic tools are typically not about even categorization. They're about getting paid. I'll talk about that in just a second. So Raquel, thanks for the 5. Yo ho, all together. Never shall we die. And like KH's career. Peace out, Tug and Chad. I have to go and do adult life things. Well, you have fun with that. It's good to see you. Janet, and remember tomorrow it all picks up. Amber Heard, it will probably be on the stand. Janet, thanks for the 10. Her age contributes to her sexual aggressiveness, a loss of beauty. I mean, that's straight. With a person like Amber Heard, she doesn't understand probably how to deal with. In Hollywood, her career was built on her looks, and her looks are fading. They're fading over time. And how does a person like Amber Heard maintain that? Well, they become more aggressive. They become, more needy, sometimes more hateful. But okay, with diagnostics, here's what you need to really understand about diagnostics, especially her old diagnoses versus what Shannon Curry had to say on the stand. Shannon Curry was hired to give an overview or a summary, again, an in-depth. Well, she was hired to do that based on an in-depth analysis of everything that she saw, again, through multiple types of tests, just all types of things that are outside of self-reporting. When you see a client though, like if you come to me for help, if you're my client, my obligation is to talk to you and to see what exactly your needs are and to get you help. And the way to get you help, this is a big key in it, is I got to make your insurance provide, because again, you need services and we've got to get them paid for. Now, the way that you get them paid for is you use a lot of diagnostic criteria that they may look at you as a case and they may ask a lot of questions about why you're diagnosed, why you're not, because they will definitely get involved in it. But even more than that, they will not service some types of diagnostics. They won't even pay. Like, what I mean is they won't pay for. Somebody mentioned ODD. Okay, ODD, or oppositional defiance disorder in children. All right, well, the insurers under Medicare and Medicaid in the state of Tennessee, they put in this review scaling for ODD for kids. If you diagnose kids with that, then then what they would do is they would go in and they would look at how much per person that cost. They would do a cost benefit analysis, and if you if you didn't meet that criteria, they would fine you. Now, the state's already paying you nothing. All right, so what's going to happen in cases like that? People aren't going to diagnose ODD anymore. They're going to diagnose you with something else, and that happens a lot when the state. Like a Blue Cross Blue Shield may not do that, but some of the, I'm not going to name anybody specific as a negative, but as far as anything that is state or federal that is providing those dollars to, again, the elderly or to children or to people in impoverished situations, they do some crazy things, and it's already bad enough. Like, you don't have a lot of providers that will give those services to somebody in that need group anyhow. A lot of providers walk away, and they deal with people like an Amber Heard because, of course, they have a fat wallet that comes along with them. But by and large, even the guys diagnosing Johnny Depp, I could tell they take insurance because they were treating him for substance abuse issues from go. That's what they were supposed to treat for. And yet, if you look at their diagnostics, they had other things that were listed before the substance abuse disorders. And the reason they do that, again, you can't have if you want to get paid by insurance, typically there are some instances where this will be the opposite, but typically you can't get paid for that without having it has to be a rider diagnosis, a secondary, probably a tertiary diagnosis. Usually, like you need a primary and then a secondary. And then you're saying, well, they came into me because of depression and anxiety, but they have substance abuse issues. Like you have to have another reason they walked in the door, and they're getting help. Even, a lot of drug rehabs and stuff even have to, the doctors that are treating there, they have to play by those rules too. Because again, the insurers, they do not want to pay for that. So it's a fascinating thing that a lot of people have no idea how complex, like why people are overdiagnosed away, like why Amber Heard probably wouldn't be diagnosed the way that she should be diagnosed. And Amber Heard isn't alone in that either. There are many other people that are diagnosed that way too. Like I said, I thought that was I thought it was fascinating though when they started talking about having her diagnosed by a representative of the court. I knew, I absolutely knew that we were going to see at least one of these diagnostics, and I thought we might actually see two of them. I thought we might actually see more than one. Oh, Drew Barrymore. I think it's funny, like Drew Barrymore, like the issues that she ended up running into. So Drew Barrymore, I want to talk about this for a minute. So Drew Barrymore put up a clip, which they have now pulled down for her show, that was talking. Let me see if somebody recorded that. Let me pull it up real quick. Drew Barrymore, Johnny Depp. And she pulled this down. It was actually a clip from their own show where they were talking trash, basically. Yeah, and they were mocking Johnny Depp. It was pretty nasty, just to be honest. I didn't want to do it in its own video, but I did want, like I said, I wanted to talk about it. Let's see. The commentary on the video too. It's funny because they ended up pulling all of that down. They didn't want the hype to it. They didn't want the ugliness to it. And I mean, she was laughing at Johnny Depp. Like, here we go. Here it is. Okay, so here's somebody who let me see. This is a video that captures the whole thing. We'll pull it up for you. I don't know if you've seen this, but Drew Barrymore had to do her apology tour. And I get tired of this. They would never do this to a female survivor. Wait, 1 second. This sounds, I don't know. They would never do this to a survivor that is a female, but they would do this to a male. So here's Drew Barrymore. I don't know how the volume will be on here, so let's check it.
I can't handle the Johnny Depp Amber Heard. I am on the feeder. It's like one layer of crazy. It's a 7-layer dip of insanity.
So let me turn this up all the way. I've got a magnifier for this. So I'm gonna open this through Google real quick, and I'm gonna turn the volume thing all the way up. I have a volume magnifier on YouTube. I don't feel like that's loud enough. I really want you to hear what she pulls in this, because I thought it was really telling with her laughing again, laughing at male victims, because that's what these people they feel comfortable doing. They feel comfortable turning men having these issues into punchlines. And the problem with this is the fact that men are told by so many folks out there that you need to speak up about these situations. Why the hell would you speak up if people are going to make fun of you the whole time? Why would you do that? There we go. All right. Now, I'm gonna put that on there now. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. I just had to line the sound. Let me know if there's any volume issues or if for some reason you can't hear this, okay? I'm gonna wait. It's like a 54-second clip. So tell me if you can't. Can you, when I turn this on, can you hear the sound? No sound? All right. It's I'm gonna have to play it on the other thing then. It's interesting how that. Yeah, there's a volume magnifier on the. There's a volume magnifier on here. We'll try it one more time on this one, and then if it doesn't, we'll play it just regular volume. It wouldn't even play through there. Here we go. Let's try it one more time on this one. Give me 1 second. Setting it up. That's why I ask. I'm paying attention to the chat today, making sure that it plays or it doesn't play. All right. Tell me if this has sound for it. It still knows that. God, it makes me want to profane. All right. It makes me want to say some nasty stuff. If for some reason StreamYard, that is a StreamYard issue. All right, we're going to just play it straight through StreamYards, and it'll have its volume. I won't speak, so if the volume's low, it's low. I wanted to use the volume booster, but yeah. By the way, if you don't know this, there is a volume booster on. There's a volume booster on Google. You can download as an extension. It's called a Volume Master. You can increase the volume by 600%. So if you have problems playing the volume on here, there. All right, here we go.
I can't handle the Johnny Depp Amber Heard. I am on the feeder. It's like one layer of crazy. It's a 7-layer dip of insanity.
It's truly amazing just to sit back and read the transcripts of what they've done to each other.
Every night I get in bed and I'm like,
dude's like, this needs to be on TV. He lost a fingertip. He drew his name in blood on the wall.
How about the burnt body and why a Honda Civic?
Yeah.
What is a Honda Civic? Well, you know, the next day at Honda, they all came into the office and they were like, why did he pick us? Like, why? What?
It's fascinating.
It's so fascinating. I know that these are two people's real lives, and I know what it's like to have your life put out in public.
Mhm.
I understand all the feelings, but they are actually offering up this
I understand that they're just so
Amazing just
they
to
find it
sit
funny.
back
Again,
and read the
here's
transcripts
the
of what
problem
they've
a lot
done
of people
to
have
each
with
other.
this.
Every night I get in bed and I'm like,
Dude's like, this needs to be on TV. He lost a fingertip.
He lost a fingertip. He lost a fingertip. It's so funny. She cut his fucking finger off. Man, what garbage human beings. Like I said, you wouldn't pull this shit. You would know better than to pull this shit if we were talking about a woman. We were talking about a woman. And again, I'm not pointing that at I'm pointing that societally. This is why men don't speak up, because they become punchlines. And that pisses me off, man. Now, she apologized for it, but you know what? I'm going to say this bluntly, and I'm very bluntly, fuck her apology. You know why? Because she knew better than to do this with anyone else. But again, a man, it doesn't matter. Let's have fun with that. Let's make fun of it. Hell, why didn't they laugh about him having a cigarette put out on his face too? Because that happened when he lost his finger as well. I think that's a fun joke. I'm a funny. That ain't fucking funny. It's horrible that somebody would do this to you behind closed doors. And as far as a Honda Civic comment, hell yeah, I'd be pissed off if somebody ruined my damn life. Why did that come up, by the way? Because this piece of trash that freaking wanted to ruin his fucking life, they used it as a weapon as an excuse. Because that's what happens. Piece of garbage wants to deflect away from it. But look at that comment there. Yeah, the comment was very telling. It was very telling that humans emote, get pissed off, and talk to other people. Maybe you need to, I don't know, pay a little bit more attention. Because if you paid a little bit more attention in the beginning, maybe you wouldn't have to be like, oh, please, please, please forgive me. Like I said, fuck your apology. I don't want it. I don't want it because at the end of the day, I'm getting tired of fucking mainstream corporate America. All these people, this is one of the people with power in Hollywood. One of the people this is why people like Depp, they get fired for standing up. Because pieces of trash like this, and this is trash behavior. It is. I don't care if you tell jokes about everything, but fuck you. Own it. Own it. You thought it was funny. You thought it was some good time, fun time. When somebody was talking about, again, they didn't talk about, oh, I lost my finger. It was chopped off. It's insane. Yes, it's a fucking circus when you look at it, but that ain't a punchline moment. If you wanted to say shitting on a bed was funny, yeah, that's crazy behavior. That is insane. We all laughed about that. I didn't find it very funny when a guy got his finger cut off, though. I still don't see the humor in it. I see the humor in calling it Little Richard. I thought that was kind of funny, but at the same time, it's a very sad situation because you have to make jokes about that in order to internalize what happened to you because somebody chopped your fucking finger off because you trusted them and you loved them. Like, that's a horrible situation. I mean, imagine this. Bria, oh my God. Did you see those pictures of her with her swollen face and stuff? No. You wouldn't do that. But hey, getting his finger chopped off, good times, right? Good time punchlines. That's how out of touch these fucking people are with us. That's how out of touch they are. And they are. They very much are. Because like normal people, they know that they know what's going on with this. They know just how fried this is. And again, Drew Barrymore, she put out an apology video on it too. So let me pull up her apology video, because funny. Now, that clip, by the way, I want to be very clear in something too. That clip was not from Drew Barrymore's show. That was a promotional clip. They put that out because they thought somehow in some way that you would want to watch their show because his finger got cut off. So she put out an apology. I'm sorry that we as a company decided that was going to be funny. I'm so sorry. I mean, are you freaking kidding me? What's crazy too is I'll show you that, and I'll show you a few other things that go along with it as well. So Drew Barrymore, they ate it because of that. Like, people were like, "You're insane! Like, why are you laughing about this? This ain't funny." And here's Drew Barrymore's response to it.
Hi, it has come to my attention that I have offended people with making light of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. And for that, I just want to deeply apologize and appreciate everyone
I'm sorry I
who
got
spoke
caught.
out, because this can be a teachable moment for me and how I move forward and how I conduct myself.
So
I can be a more thoughtful and better person moving forward, because all I want to do is be a good person. And
no, you did. You wanted to be a good person then, didn't you?
I very much appreciate the depth of this, and I will grow and change from it.
There's your joke right there. Man, I don't even want to listen to the rest of that. I'll put that in a video. Fuck her, man. That makes me mad. That irritates me a lot. It's just a teachable moment. No, you should have had a teachable moment years ago. Like I said, you would have known better. If it were Amber Heard, I never saw them having a good laugh at Amber Heard's expense ever for years. What's really telling is if you look back on like say Charlie's Angels, right? These were supposed to be your pals, so it's not just it's bad when you have like strangers making fun of you, but it's really bad when you have people that supported you and supported. Drew Barrymore had her ass canceled. Drew Barrymore was canceled in Hollywood. Guess who stood up for her? Yeah, that's right. This guy right here stood up for her. What does she do? She mocks him. She thinks it's funny. She thought it was funny to mock him. Huh. Teachable moments indeed. And if somebody has to teach you not to make fun of fucking people that are again having their body part in the moment. I mean, again, if he's making fun of his stuff, that's one thing. If she's making fun of it, that's a totally different thing. Now, I believe in her ability to say that. You know, if you want to make fun of people and shit, you could do that all day long. Here's the thing, though. That was a show. Again, they thought that was marketable. They thought, hey, you know what would be a good marketable moment for me? I'm going to make fun of this stuff. We're going to advertise it. They thought that they could. Oh my God. They thought that they could market that. They thought it would be effective. And it definitely was effective in driving their viewership down. Ugh. God, that makes me irritated though. Let's see, I'm going to grab a few comments or let's see. Finbar White, thanks for 5. Great informative stream. Just know everybody, if you're going through a bad situation, she will get through. As my mom used to say, look for rainbows in a rainy day. I mean, that, you know, in a situation like this too, let me just say it this way. If you are being abused by that person, if these things are happening to you, they're not going to change. It's not going to change. Okay? Don't lie to yourself. You're not the reason that it's happening. They're not going to change. They're not going to become that thing that you thought they were before. They were never that thing to begin with. What you've got to understand is that you may be the same person, but they were always that person. The person that's doing these terrible things to you, that's who you were always around. You didn't realize it before because people are very good at camouflaging who and what they are. When they start doing terrible shit to you, you know, you've got to walk away. You've got to. You've got to. It is the only way things will change. And I know that's hard sometimes. I know you look at your life and you think, man, you know, this is going to do damage. What about what about money? What about the kids? Like whatever's in your relationships there. But you know what? Like you have to look at your safety too. Your safety. The person, if a person is willing to harm and they keep escalating, what they're going to do sooner or later is they may well kill you. So you need to leave. Just remember that. Like you don't look at yourself and say, oh my God. If you need to do self-assessment too in a relationship, if you're having arguments and there's difficulties like that, you can have arguments. Everybody's going to disagree and they're going to argue. Okay. You need to learn to walk away sometimes. If it starts to get really heated, walk away. Cool off, go to the corner. It's hard sometimes. I get that too. But if things are escalating beyond that, then you know, you need to make a decision that involves your safety. Gypsy Faye, thanks for the 2. Just got here. Quick recap. We were going over the personality disorders, personality items with Amber Heard, the diagnosis that were added to her, and discussing them. You know, we were talking about them in detail. BPD and histrionic personality disorder. Again, just easily understanding is terror of abandonment, you know, for BPD, and the other is drama or shallowness. And again, there's a lot more to it from there that we talked about, but I think that's probably a good recap. And then we hit the Drew Barrymore stuff there, and I'm going to talk about that more in just a second. Moon 10, thanks for the 10. I think AH will show her face at cross. She has zero self-control, emotional regulation issues, and does not like being questioned or gets muffins. As she must know by now, the public is not on her side. I think she'll crank it up to 7 on the I'm going to cry scale. I think she'll cry hardcore. And those, I'm telling you, those elitist white woman tears, they're, a pretty white woman on the stand. Ooh, they're powerful. Powerful stuff. Works very well. It will undo reason a lot of times, especially with a story behind it. A story of make-believe so profound that it burned lives down. Katrina, thanks for the 15. Do you think AH or the team has been watching online and knows that everyone knows the truth about her? Yes, very much so. And the jury, do you think they have some exposure to YouTube? She's done the public court #men too. I think it's this way. I'm going to be blunt about this, but I believe this happens in some cases. Jurors are not supposed to ever look at things. Jurors are just people. They're going to see some of this stuff. They're going to hear about it in their lives. And yeah, it's quite possible that they do. They have that exposure. So I know they're not supposed to. In fact, that is a huge, huge no-no, but they're people, how do you expect people to lock their lives down for months on end? Or really a month and a half to 2 months on end. I mean, it's, I'm just being honest about that. Shabaka Wookie, thanks for 279. We are not any better toward turn. We are worse. Well, she, here's the thing. Like anything that she is faking her stuff. I spent 2 years plus looking at it, and her claims, fuck her claims. They're fake. They're fake. I have no empathy or sympathy for a false accuser. She deserves ridicule. An actual person that is victimized. Drew Barrymore is trying to take the middle ground. She's trying to play the middle ground with it and trying to say all claims are real, basically. If you're doing that, then you're saying that you're essentially feeling okay with deriding to, as you perceive it, victims, because she's afraid to take a stand. Fuck, here's even more. Fuck her apology. Fuck her milquetoast stance. You want to stand in the middle and you want to give a lukewarm stance about that? If you don't know anything about the case to begin with, sit down and shut up, because you do more damage as a Drew Barrymore. You do more damage because you are fucking uneducated. You want to talk about a teachable moment? Here's a fucking teachable moment. Teach yourself to become educated on the fucking case before commenting. You could talk about what's been said out there. You could talk about the accusations. You have to make it very clear, though, that these accusations they're not substantiated. Good Lord. Hear my freaking phone going off. My God. My phone went crazy for a second there. Where's Drew's apology? It's on Instagram, just by the way. She posted that on Instagram. Hey, Inger, thanks for the super chat there. I'm a new sub. Love the content. Yeah, well, I wish it hit me in the litany of profanity. Typically, I try to keep most stuff clean. Yeah, I mean, this just irritates me. Like, it very well irritates me. So thank you for being here. It helps me work that out. Oof, these people, it does make me mad. It does. It makes me mad because they would never do this. If the situation, she felt comfortable making fun of both people in that. And one of those people, no matter what your stance is, one of those people is an abuser. If you're taking that, or you okay, if you're trying to ride one side or the other, then I've looked through the case. I very much 1,000% know that Deb didn't do this crap. I know it. I've read it. I've seen it. I've seen the pictures. I've seen more than any of the shit that's been shown up there. I've seen some other stuff too that if they don't show it in the courtroom, I'm hoping I get my hands on it. because there's more shit out there. There's more, much, much more. There's stuff out there that proves beyond a shadow of a doubt. You know, I haven't heard some of the audio tapes and stuff. I didn't know about them, but I've seen pictures that aren't in there for sure. I know. You know, thanks for the find there. Drew should be ashamed. Her past is dark and people make jokes all the time about it. Yep. Now she found it funny then. Yeah, Johnny Depp helped her out a lot. It's funny how you help people like that out and they laugh and spit in your face, isn't it? Like when you're down, it's funny the same people that were down and you gave them a hand are kicking dirt in your face when you needed it. That's the things for the two. Where's Drew's apology? So that's where Instagram. Michael Sanger, thanks for the 5. Joe Rogan's funny comments were also not cool. I haven't even watched the Joe Rogan. I've kind of kept it insular in some of it. You know, I've kept some of it insular. So I've tried to avoid like mainstream. I've tried to avoid talking heads and Rogan I don't dislike Rogan or anything. I don't know. I don't particularly enjoy commentary for a lot of people there. I'm just focusing on what we do, and there are a lot of people that I know are very well informed on the case, and I keep up with them. Eugene, thanks for the 2. Did you see AH fired her PR team? Oh yeah, there's more to that too. There's much more. I think I'll do a video on it. I think all of you will find that fascinating. I knew. Thanks for the 2. Excuse me, I need to go drop an amber. See, that's funny. Chris Robert, thanks for the 10. The only reason Drew Barrymore has any power in Hollywood is because she refused to name abusers. Yep, that's true. Like she basically she's worked really well in a cycle which she wanted to call out at one time, right? Sassy Forever, thanks for the 10. Someone told her she couldn't figure it out herself. We'll watch that show, $300 million in millionaire package. Exactly. Like I said, they thought it was good. Yeah, Roxy Jean brings up something very fun too. So Anthony Anderson has been accused of sexual assault multiple times. She said 3. I knew there were multiple. I don't know the number, but multiple times. Let's talk about that then. I mean, if it's all fun and games, right? Anthony Anderson has been accused multiple times of sexual assault. So if he believes accusations and having people's lives burned down are fun. Now, again, I've not done any research on that. I believe, though, if you're not in the court of law, you take that how it is. But, I mean, if Anthony Anderson thinks it's cool that false accusations, hey, front and center, baby, and it's all good times. And I guess he's okay with being fair game for it, too, right? Here's the thing. You back that culture. A lot of these people, they allow that culture to exist. They're the ones that help build it up in the first place. And then they whine and they mope and they cry when it burns their lives down. Like when it comes for someone like Dan Wooten, I'm going to say, poor Dan Wooten. Because that's what they want. I mean, it's okay, right? Anthony Anderson, it's all good, right? It's all gravy, baby. Of course, they don't believe that, though. They don't believe that. Gomer Pyle, thanks for the 10. Well, Anthony Anderson is quiet racist against white men since Backlash. Shame. I used to have a crush on that ghoul Drew Pyle. Kyle? No. Oh, Anthony, I said Pyle. My bad. Gomer Kyle. Oh, my God. It reads like that in my brain. It's hilarious. Off topic. Do you like Halloween Kills? Will be woke trash. I like what they want to do with Halloween Kills. I liked it compared to a lot of the other movies for sure. I know that's a very divisive movie. Well, I liked some of the stuff that they were trying to do with it for sure, but there were certain things. Shabaka Wookie, thanks for the 7. It honestly doesn't matter if it's Drew or us. The behavior's about the same. We were right to rip her to shreds, but we were vicious, merciless, and mean. Well, here's the problem with Drew Barrymore. Again, I have no nicety toward you're not obligated to nicety. Okay, you're not at all. You don't owe anybody nicety, but Drew Barrymore, what she's saying is that on this side of things, like her statement, her argument is that she wants to take the middle ground. And she wants to say, in the middle ground, that both of these people, they're mutual abusers. I guess that's going to be her stance. If they're mutual abusers still, is that fine? Or if you're saying, one, two, or both, I mean, is that the good times there? Then yeah, I don't know anybody nicety. You're right though. I can be very, again, my when you say this online too, like if Shabaka Wookie makes a comment online, you're not promoting your show with that. They thought that was a good promotional, and the reason that she's apologizing is because it hit her in the pocket. And it hit her. This is supposed to be one of her friends. She's on. I tell you what, I'm not going to name any of my friends because I don't want to put that on there. But just you see who I hang out with on different shows and stuff. If one of my friends was accused of something heinous, if I found out one of my friends had truly been harmed by another person, first of all, if one of my friends had been accused, you know what? Until I know absolutely better, I won't turn on my friends. That's a fucked up Hollywood standard. And that's what, Drew Barrymore, again, she needed help being lifted out of the trash. Depp helped lift her out of the trash. He had the power to help do that. He was there when, for the longest time, she was done. I mean, she was done. And like other people have said, part of her thing was that she wouldn't speak up either. So it's very interesting that when somebody speaks up, they got to have dirt kicked in their face. But the friend alone, like I said, I see the value of Hollywood friendships there. If you're my friend, I'll go to war for you. I will. I'll burn the fucking world down for my friend. I will make sure that I can do. I would take that power, that level that Drew Barrymore has, and I would fucking torch the ground. If it cost me a stupid show like fucking the Drew Barrymore show, if I had the That Umbrella Guy show on CBS or something, fuck CBS. I'd take my platform. I'd say whatever I needed to. If me and a Johnny Depp were buddies, which we're obviously not, but if that were my friend and they stood up for me, I would set the sky on fire for them because I would make sure I would know this case inside and out because that is my friend that helped me out. And that's what they claim. They claim they were friends. She claimed friendship with a person. He helped her. I remember the people who helped me. Like I said, I would set the sky on fire for that. I would raise the ground. There'd be no Warners, anyone. They'd cancel me, and I'd have a fucking platform, million strong, would know why I got canceled because I stood up because somebody was falsely accused. That's power, baby. They could be using that for good, but instead they don't. They point the finger at their own friends and they spit in their face. Hollywood is fickle. Hollywood is garbage. If anybody talks about you don't have to, you know what? I hear about how risk too. People are afraid to speak up about that. Fuck, just ordinary people out here. You realize what kind of hate and nastiness and people trying to cancel your lives and shit. People like myself or like Ricada. Ricada's been swatted how many times now? Police forces into your home. People call child protective services on us and stuff. They can't just get out there with a microphone and talk about how they believe that their friend is being falsely accused. Then fuck them. I have no love for him. I have no love. I'm going to be very blunt with you. I have no fucking love for Jason Momoa. Fuck that dude. He wants to about face and now see a problem with Amber Heard. He's known what her behavior is. He's been there this whole time. He's seen it. He knows. He's been around it. His problem was that Amber Heard used him in a case. That's why he has a problem. And Warner Brothers, they gave him permission to turn on her. So I find that to be very telling. I have no love or sympathy for any of these fucking Hollywood types that did that. They sat on the sidelines for years until it's convenient, until they find out it's safe to speak out. Those people too, I have no love for them. I can't stand Hollywood. I can't stand that culture. That culture is bankrupt. Like, it learned very quickly how to destroy lives, but and it does it with such impunity. We're not talking about people that just got educated on the case and were like, "Hey, this is a problem. Now I see the problem." No. These are people that knew the truth. They've had it from day one. They know what kind of type of monster they're around, but it's beneficial to shill for them. And I'm not talking about being quiet because you work with somebody. I'm talking about overtly shilling these people. And now you want to move over here, now you want no, you don't get that. You don't get that. He knows what kind of home wrecking piece of garbage that was. I believe that Jason Momoa, he about faced when Warner gave them permission, and when his text popped up in exhibits, that's when he suddenly found the solidarity and strength to stand up and back somebody. Before that, though, that's fair weather, man. That's garbage. Like, it's very easy to stand when the tide isn't against you. When the tide is pushing out and you're standing up and all that tide and momentum, it's going one way, and you stand and you back where the momentum is going toward. That's easy, man. That's easy. When people stood up though and they talked about how like this, this is what's going on, that's what's going on. When it was difficult, I find that to be something that's deserving of praise. Yeah. Anyway, I'm ranting about Jason Momoa. I do videos about how like he betrayed. It was a betrayal to her and stuff. But you know what? There's no. I mean, I can get a good laugh out of that. But there's no solidarity in that or anything. Tammy Fuller, thanks for the 5 there. Drew, everyone in covering JD versus AH when she went through a ton of crap. She should know better. That's true. Kathy M. Harris, thanks for the 4 there and the super sticker. Appreciate that. Rebecca, thanks for the 5. Thanks you much for your words. I relate to Johnny Depp. I'm also a survivor. You're spot on. Thank you. Like I said, I work with people all the time that have been through these horrible situations, and I want to be able to empathize with people, and it's horrible to recognize, even in my own self, the damage that someone like an Amber Heard does, because I can see that in you see people weaponizing claims or false accusations, like what you said. I'm a survivor. Okay, that should be me too. It happened to me too. There's no weaponization. There's no ugliness in that. And if you're pointing at a true abuser too, and there's a difference, but they've hurt my ability in some ways. I have to be cognizant of my own behavior because of people like that, and I hate them. So I mean, like, again, I think all the people who stood up and spoke about what happened to them and their standing on this case too, because I think that is a not just a valid stance, but a needed one. K-Rap, thanks for the 5 there. A 5-year-old knows not to make fun enough not to make fun of someone who has been hurt. Those that need it, pointed out to them, are bullies. Yeah, in that moment, again, I'm not saying that I'm a nice person. I'll make fun of shit too, but it's hypocritical. Again, it's not just making fun; it's using it. They wanted to sell a product, making fun of it. Ha ha ha! Men are being abused. More from Drew Barrymore later at the. They put out. It's so much worse than like making a joke about a finger being cut off. They used it as a promotional for their show. Like, that's jacked up. They thought somehow that would sell their show to the general public. That's how in touch they are. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Adrena, thanks for the yay. I get the tears theory, but we all know she's lying and faking, so it's not going to work. Well, the jury, though, did the jury know she's faking? There's where you have to question. It's not that she cries and it works on you or I. The court of public opinion, you're going to have the fair weather media. They're going to all bounce on it. They're going to be like, rah, 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 rah. But the fair weather media or the fair weather media, that's how they act. But does it work on the jury? That's the question, because you're right. You're right on part of that. For you or I, it doesn't work on it. But how does it work on the jury? Can't wait for that. I gave it all to charity. I wanted nothing moment. LOL. Indeed. That'll be fun to see. She's going to be like, I promised it, I didn't donate it all yet, but I promised it. It's going to happen, baby. He's like, yeah, right. See, Lyles, welcome. Thank you. Thank you for the membership, too. Welcome to Tugs Thugs. Appreciate you. Natalie, thanks for the 5. Watch all of Hollywood come to Johnny's side. When he wins, he should snub them all. What's really going to be bad is the same people. You see it now, though. And you know what really disgusts me? I'm gonna be blunt about this. Something that really disgusts me to see. I see people sharing videos from Court TV. That fucking disgusts me. Court TV, they went out of their way to falsify evidence to show to the public. They took, and I did a video on this. They took, and I complain about it all the time because it pisses me off. They took a 2-minute and 4-second video, the cabinet slamming video. They hyper zoomed 6 seconds of it. What I mean is they took it, they blew up the middle of it where you could see Johnny Depp's hand in the middle of it. And the way that they blew it up, it made it look like he was grabbing her arm and assaulting her in a video. They used that as a higher point in putting together, like, it was a false claim. You could tell. And you know what? It worked. It worked to convince some people out there. And it got called out. Thousands of people were there. But now people are sharing their fucking videos because they're pretending to be somewhat non-biased in this toward Amber Heard. And that disgusts me. That absolutely disgusts me. The only way you change this shit is you make the people that caused it pay. And the people that caused it, that's not just Amber Heard. That's not just the ACLU. These are organizations that were hell-bent on building this up and destroying lives. And they did a damn good job of it. And you got to make them pay. Otherwise, it'll happen again. It'll happen again. Matt Rainwater. Hey, thank you, Matt. I appreciate that. I see you all the time here, too. I appreciate you, buddy. I appreciate all of you, first of all. I do. Like this channel, when I started this channel, I remember seeing a YouTuber. Like, again, I'm it's amazing how much I've learned about technology. I still boomer things up all the time, but it's amazing what I've learned about technology and YouTube over years, over the last few years. But when I started, I saw this channel with 20,000 subs, and I thought, holy crap, that seemed like the end all be all. Like you could never get there because how could you? I mean, that was such a far place away from, anything that we're doing. And it seemed amazing. And now this channel has 181,000 subscribers and growing. It's because of you folks. You show up, you do this. So I appreciate the heck out of you. And I can't say that enough. I do. Every day I say it. I try to say it in videos because I do. I appreciate you. Matt Rainwater, thank you for the $200 super chat. Thank you for that. Just wanted to say thank you so much, brother. You're a buddy from the bluegrass. I've been plugging Tug every day on every channel I come across. You're the best, bud. Hashtag Megapint. Thank you. I appreciate that. Like I said, you guys have helped some. Again, when we were covering this stuff, it was suppressed. it was stuff we couldn't talk about, and you made it work. All of you did. So it's been amazing. If you're not subbed to the channel, by the way, it's free. Hit that sub button. That it helps out. Like I said, it pushes us in the algorithm. We're already at 181. We may hit 200,000 subscribers by the end of this. It's insane. You know, again, I was mentioning this already. You have a better chance of making it into the NBA statistically than you have of growing channels to that size. So, like I said, thank you. It very much is appreciated. Eugene Knight, thanks for the 2. Almost 3 million subscribers. Yeah, 3 million. 3 million subscribers. I'm going to pull that up too. Or 3 million signature. I mean, let me pull up that survey. I haven't talked about that recently, and that's a big one. So this survey to remove her from, it's not about removing her from anything, by the way. Like, let's not get that twisted. What it's about is making the point that Amber Heard public know who she is. They know what she is. And the petition to have her removed from Aquaman, it just keeps growing. She could still be removed, by the way. I mean, we're talking about it's barely off of 3 million signatures now. Check this out. So that petition is at 2,935,404 signatures and counting. You'll see if you see my town down here, it doesn't matter. Like, everybody knows where I'm from now, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, so don't think that's like, oh my God, that umbrella guy showed it. No, everybody knows where I'm from, so it doesn't matter anymore. Matt Rainwater, thanks for the 5. Everyone signed the petition, guys and gals. Let's get to 3 million. Hashtag Megapod. Ingrid, Mom, thanks for the 10. Anyone that see pics, someone brought up of AH with Elon with bruising near his eye. Yeah, there's actually 5 pictures of Elon with damage to his face that are out there that I've seen. 5 different pictures with bruising and whatnot. Let me population, cities, U.S. So the numbers on this, I want to make a point with this numbers. Okay, it's almost 3 million people. If you want to think about how many signatures that is, I want you to think about this in population demographics. Okay, just to say how many people are signing off on that thing. So for the top 10 most populated U.S. cities, here's a list of them. Okay, the only one city, remember, Warner Brothers was saying that all of these numbers, they don't count. But if you were to take that one petition and you were to put all of the people that signed that into one place, you would have the 3rd most populated U.S. city represented. Only 2 cities, Los Angeles and New York, would have a larger population than that petition is representing right now. I mean, that's nuts when you think about it. I'm going to read that petition too. I'm going to show it to you. 1 second. A lot of people, they haven't seen it in a long time. Maybe certain people don't even know about this, but this is one of the longest standing petitions out there. Amber Heard has been exposed as a domestic abuser by Johnny Depp. In his $50 million lawsuit, JD describes many incidents of DV that he suffered at the hands of his then wife, AH, including one incident where she punched him twice in the face, and another where she shattered his finger with a vodka bottle, and his finger had to be surgically reattached. He will bear the scar of this for the rest of his life. Also, she was arrested in 2009 for abusing her former partner, Tasha Van Ree, demonstrating a repeated pattern of abuse by that certain Aquaman starlet. Since Heard's divorce from JD, she systematically crusaded to ruin JD in Hollywood, repeated multiple accounts of fake incidents in which she had actually abused him, but lied and created false accounts of him being an abuser. About the incident during which she shattered his bones and his finger, nearly severed it, causing him to require surgery to reattach and repair. She had presented a false story claiming that he cut his own finger off, dipped it in and she says that he did it with a plastic phone, by the way. So they go through this and they break this down of why this should be something that, again, we could have her removal from. And it's picked up that many signatures since that started back in 2020. That's a powerful testament to just how many people back her. And yet, the reason I say we need to walk away from these companies, I don't know how many of you have kept up with this for as long as it's been around, but there was a producer for Aquaman. If you think that Warner Brothers has never taken sides in this, Warner Brothers very much did. They had the producer, Peter Safran. He's the producer of Aquaman 2. He decided that while he was out promoting Suicide Squad, he would make a comment about this. This is what he had to say. I don't think we're ever going to react to, honestly, pure fan pressure. You got to do what's best for the movie. We felt that if it's director James Wan and star Jason Momoa, it should be Amber Heard. That's really what it is. One is not unaware of what is going on in the Twitterverse. But that doesn't mean you have to react to it or to take it as gospel and accede to their wishes. You have to do what's right for the film. And that's really where we landed on it. So listening to the people who back something, listening to people, 3 million freaking people strong, that's not it. You know what's the right answer? Firing the guy making statements, the guy who actually has real backing in Hollywood. If you look up, in fact, to give you an idea, I've mentioned this before, but to give you an idea of how much backing the man has, all you have to do is not just look at his Instagram page. Remembering, I did a video today talking about some of the craziness, the betrayals with Twitter. I'll talk more about that in another thing because, some people were saying, well, that's rehashing. No, first of all, it's still going on. They never fix these issues. Today, I can go on Twitter today and Johnny Depp's account, it's not set aside. It's not set up for him. It's not sitting there where he can utilize it. It shows it's suspended. Adam Waldman is still gone. They spit in his face. They did it 3 fucking times. 3 different times that I've seen. And I'm not talking about 3 messages that I showed on screen. I'm talking about 3 different times that I've had access to because quote unquote source. Anything I show, by the way, I show with permission. So I have consent to show that stuff. So when I show that, again, I'm not saying where I got it from or anything else, but it is not shown without consent. That's the best way I could go about it. And making that statement publicly, I was allowed to make that statement too. So I definitely made sure that I had consent to talk about that, talk about those messages too. So, I had somebody ask about that, and I did put it in the video saying that too. Yeah. But if you want to see who they fired, the man has almost 15 million subscribers now, when to his Instagram, over 20 posts. He's had 20 freaking posts. One post, though, in particular that truly stands out is this one. This is when he was fired. Now, at the time when he posted this, his Instagram, you got to remember his Instagram support has ballooned, and a lot of people have never seen this before. So you're going to have some of the percentages go down. But at the time that this was posted, up until the trial started, so through all of that time, this post right here discussing how Warner Brothers unceremoniously fired the man, it not only has, like if you look at the amount of attention that it's gotten, the amount of likes, actually, let's go to the corner down here. You can see 3,635,048. Actually 49 now because this is actually signed in. But he's had over, at one time he had 36% like ratio from his follower count. Now, typically, the amount of follower interaction that you have on something is around 2% for most people, 2 to 5% at the high range. The man shoots up over 35%. Until recent, like I said, his number swelling and ballooning. A lot of people don't know about this. They don't know exactly what kind of mess happened in the past, but the level of his support is through the freaking roof. So I mean, when you look at that, why does that matter? Well, when you compare that to Amber Heard, okay, Amber Heard, her follower numbers on Instagram are they're they're strange because if you do health, like if you do a fake Instagram follower check, let's see, let me pull that up easy. Do a fake Instagram follower check. You know what you find with her? You find that she's listing she's listing 24% fake followers. Here you go. Actually 25% now. So it's gone up to she's at the level. Okay, so here's you a lovely breaking story there. Her numbers have gotten to the point on Instagram that they are in the threshold for fakes where you buy followers. So here's those numbers. So when you check a profile over time, what you want to see, as this says here, more than 25% is typically a sign of fraud. You round up in the numbers. 25, she's at 25%, 24.82%. She's at 25% now. Her engagement rate. Now, again, you have to adjust her engagement rate because she shut down all the commentary on it. But still, her engagement rate for somebody that's at Hollywood is 2.74%. That is the lowest threshold that you can have. Actually, we'll round up. We'll say 3%. So that is 2 to 5%. That is at the bottom. Lowest to right there at the bottom. Dirt low. But her followers, her follower numbers on Twitter are even worse. Her fake follower account, the health checks are at 36% fake followers. Now, again, you have to remember that she works with PR firms. She works with places out of Hollywood that specialize in making you look extravagant. She is attached to some of the biggest products coming out of Hollywood in Warner Brother movies right now. And this is what she gets. This is who these folks have decided they're going to throw in with. Like when I look at this stuff, I look at all the stupid out there. This is who they decided they would do so much damage control for. No fucking wonder she has to make up false accusations. Nobody likes her. Like that's being truthful. Nobody likes her. Nobody supports that career. This is who Hollywood decided that they were going to boost. They were going to build up. Miss Fake Follower there. Again, her Twitter numbers are much worse. Her Twitter numbers are actually to the point that they go over the 25% threshold. Again, 36% fake followers. That's what they're showing these days. Krista, thanks for the 5. All they have to do is push her a little bit to anger on the stand. It's all over. She should be so easy to trigger. Yeah, actually, you guys want to see. So you're talking about her PR firm. I'll make you a video on her PR firm, but I'll show you something real quick. Okay. You want to know what her old PR firms they were into? You want to know how they were pushing stuff. So Adam Waldman. Now this has been available for a while because of Adam Waldman. He's the reason we saw it. He was an amazing source. But one of the things that he did was he showed us her PR firm in action. I've got to grab that real quick. It'll take me a second just to find it. Do you realize too, like a lot of people, I need to do a live stream over this. Did you realize that Amber Heard doxed 83 witnesses in this case that backed Johnny Depp? Did you realize that? Like most people don't. Like I think I think I'll do a video on that again. She stole 3 stories. She doxed 83 people. I mean, it's insane. Of course, they have to go out and they have to give good, positive PR for her because my God, the stuff that she has been involved in is crazy. But her old PR firm, all right, I'll have to close these and open them back up because I don't want to show the places they're coming from. All right, but Give me 1 second. I'm gonna share this. Her old PR firm, since people are talking about PR, they actually would write mainstream media groups. They would leak documentation. This is them leaking documentation. This is from her PR group. It's noted in the top of it. Hope you're well. We wanted to give you a heads up on a major development in the Depp versus NGN case overnight. I will forward the judgment once we receive it from the U.S. And as per usual, anything you feel free to call Mark or myself. This is part of the PR firm. So, as crucial witness, Melanie Iglesias did not want to give evidence in the UK case, which, so they go through that. They provide statement on that, in a motion to quash the order compelling her to quote unquote. So, her lawyers, they have statements from her lawyers that they're throwing in there too. And then they really get to the bread and butter of things. So, check this out. I got to pull it up here. Remember, they're leaking it's not, it's funny. Okay, this is the problem here. This is my problem with them putting anything out in the public. That's what Adam Waldman was actually taken to task and had himself suspended and thrown off a case for, because they said he was leaking things that were attached to Virginia. The problem with that is, though, that all of the documentation that he was talking about had been made public because she turned it all over to the folks in the UK trial. So it was all public. But here, they're writing, giving, again, their statements. You can see here. Then they attach the document. They say, we have attached our original witness declaration here, that they put this in. Remember, also, what they're alleging is that Adam Waldman, again, has been making contact with people like myself. Again, you can take that how you want. Hey, you can make that decision if I've been in contact with someone or not. That is beyond the point. But what they allege is that that means your voice is for sale. Okay. Meanwhile, they're contacting with their PR saying, here's the stuff. This is the part of the statement that you need to read. Here's our statement in that. And if you read through this, what their PR team is doing, you have articles that read just like this. They are this commentary. They fed them articles. They gave them everything that they were supposed to say, and it worked there. Meanwhile, like I said, against Adam Waldman, what they were using as a weapon was to say Adam Waldman had been in contact with social media accounts. And again, I'm not denying nor confirming that. I'll be very clear in what I'm saying there. I am not denying that. I am not confirming that. But I find it fascinating. Anyone, or rather everyone, as I've said many times, everyone can contact me. You know what my email address is? It's right out there in the open. I don't burn my sources for shit. And I would have let them contact me too. They could have contacted me. The difference is, if their PR people hit me up and fed me a fucking story and told me what to say, you know what would happen? I'd have dumped that in public in a heartbeat. If somebody like an Adam Waldman contacted me and wanted to tell me what was going on in something, I would definitely look at it. I would definitely read it. I would definitely hear what they say. But if he told me what I had to say in public, I would fucking dump it in the public in a heartbeat. Because everyone can contact me, but no one can know my voice. And that's the difference in these people. They only contact with their PR people that will take a story and will run with it. Like me, they could have easily contacted me. They could contact me with any document that they wanted to. They allege, again, on his side. Well, the difference is, like I said, if he's contacting, and they say, well, Mr. Waldman, he was kicked off Twitter for life because you know what he talks about? He talks about the facts of the case. So you're telling me that Adam Waldman contacts people with the facts of a case and talks about it too? Holy shit, what a monster. Holy shit, what a terrible monster. God, dude. You know, it's a sad statement in life. You want me to tell you what's a sad statement by them, and it tells you just how much power that they've had in this case too. If what they're alleging would be true, that a Mr. Waldman and a Mr. Depp would have to make contact with social media. Mr. Waldman, if they feel that they need to make contact with social media accounts like myself or the real Laura B or whomever they named, you know why they would have to do that? Because the mainstream media won't hear anything. There are very few places that would even cover this story. That is a fucking travesty. I should be sitting over here making commentary about it. I shouldn't be front and center in a fucking case like this. The media should have done their job. That's what they get paid millions of dollars for. It's their job, man. Like the Huffington Post, for example, they just fundraised $5 million to run this stuff. If I saw $1 million, I wouldn't even fucking know what to do with it. It would become if I had $1 million, this would become my day job. I would do it every day just because I would find a way to help out with the mental health stuff to make sure that people were trained and doing things. But I do this every day. I'd become like an internet sleuth and I would just do my thing all the time. And I would make sure it was right. These places, they have a budget of $5 million a year. They have fact-checking services and all of that stuff. Man, if I had a $5 million budget, I'd hire like a team of 20 people that I know that were good, and we would freaking destroy. We would decimate the coverage of that kind of stuff. And these places have $5 million budget a year, and they wouldn't even cover this case. Now they'll cover it. Now they'll talk about it. Many of them pretend that they've been doing it all along, and they weren't shilling one side of it. It's just like I said, it's astounding when you look at it. But yeah, that's what their PR companies were doing behind that, and it didn't work. I mean, if you look at like I said, their PR was very effective when it came to the mainstream media. You know, if you want to influence the mainstream media and you want to get them on your side, hell yeah, like that might work very well. Like I said, they put out all kinds of messed up garbage to the mainstream media. The mainstream media was more than happy to cover this stuff. They're more than happy to talk about it. What they weren't happy about talking about, though, they wouldn't talk about the realities. Like I mentioned today in a video. I did a video that you should watch if you have not watched it. It discussed the reality of Twitter and Johnny Depp. If you look up Johnny Depp on Twitter, like if you go to what should be his main account, first of all, good luck finding a main account. The way you have to do this, just to find it, period, is you have to go to another account at the top of it where it lists their at. You have to go and type in Johnny Depp, because otherwise you can't find the at Johnny Depp account, period. It's unfindable these days. But if you go and look this up, period, as I said in my video, what you'll have is an account that shows as suspended. You can see it right here. At Johnny Depp, account suspended, violated Twitter rules. Now, if you're somebody like myself, when you first saw that, you thought, maybe that's because someone else had the account before and they got that booted. Fair enough. That's actually what my first question was. You know, did that belong to someone else and they got booted off? And the answer to that is it's an irrelevant topic. Why? Because you had Adam Waldman make contact with them. And when Adam Waldman made contact with them, they promised that they were going to set aside that email or that at for Johnny Depp. You can see this in these conversations here. These, again, I have these myself. These communications I got from a source. I have expressed permission to use them from the people that that would be impacted by that. So these are not shown without permission. So that's again, I just want to make sure everybody realizes that. Like, I'm not showing something like, oh my God, you got this. And no, it's all good. It's all gravy. But in that, and again, you should watch the video on it because I talk about that. In that, you have Adam Waldman. First of all, he gets suspended. Excuse redactions. I redacted any of the names of people that were contacting or other people that were working with Adam Waldman at the time. But in this, you have Adam Waldman basically asking, number one, what about my account? What's going on with that? And number 2, 3 messages here. He's having to beg Twitter to set up Johnny Depp. And it's crazy. Like, listen to the back of this. I would be grateful if you or someone at Twitter would contact me today about these matters. Johnny Depp, this was at the time he had 10.2 million followers, has accrued 10.2 million followers on Instagram with a mere handful of posts. It was the fastest to 1 million followers in the history of Instagram. He is one of the highest grossing actors in Hollywood history. I find it concerning that no one responds to me. Like, that's nuts, right? That is absolutely nuts. He's begging. Then you have them contact. And see, this is why when I focus on the Johnny Depp handle, they promised they were launching the Johnny Depp handle. So they were setting it aside. So it should not read as suspended. It should be something else. It should be findable. Should have been launched. But you know what? Every time that Adam Waldman has reached out to them, every time he has tried to get this launched, they just give him runaround. Because it's, well, a lot of people seem very offended when I talk about Elon Musk. There's so many Elon Musk simps out there, and I do not get it. I get he memes, he can be funny, but the reality is he has paid for this case. He paid $6 million during the time Amber Heard was around, so they would give her an ambassador title at the ACLU. He paid $800,000 to try to pay off her marital debts, where she said, I'm going to pay off all of my money that I get to charity, which still makes it a lie if he's paying $800,000, because she's pocketing the money that she got from charity. Never mind the fact that she actually got another $13.5 million in community liabilities written off. Never mind all of that. But Elon was good friends with his buddy Jack that ran Twitter too. Very good buddies. In fact, you can see their exchanges. He talked about him in messages, and he's changed his tune totally since Elon has talked about, taking over Twitter. If Elon's such a great guy, unsuspend Adam Waldman. If Elon is such a proponent of free speech, unsuspend Adam Waldman. Like, it's a very easy thing to do. All he has to do, all these people have to do is push a button. Jack, he was talking about how he didn't want people suspended. Again, they know why he was suspended. I think it was a flex made behind the scenes. Snuggle Struggle, thanks for the 5. AH fired her PR team, shows can see. She didn't see how all the industry is having that issue. The PR team will likely side with JD now just to save face. Well, her PR team, they're not going to be able to. Yeah, I mean, she's screwed. She is screwed. She made accusations, can't back them up. They ended her, and that was her fault. So yeah, I mean, you're right. Like, it's not their fault; it's her fault. Miss Dog Lover, thanks for 449. Dan Wooten is back on the DM site trolling, saying how AH is such a victim. Major backlash in the comments. Well, Dan Wooten is trying to say that Johnny Depp tried to cancel him forever. And the funny thing about that is Dan Wooten wrote the article saying, J.K. Rowling, why are you hiring a wife beater? It's paraphrasing it. But actually, let's not paraphrase that. Maybe let me see if it's still loaded in my. I may have the title loaded into StreamYards. If I don't, then I don't, but I used to. Let me see real quick. I have to find StreamYards for I have a bunch of different things open that I can find it for a minute there. But Dan Wooten, I mean, he went out of his way to here it is. So this was Dan Wooten's article. If he's going to go out and throw his little piss fit. This is Dan Wooten saying, Johnny Depp is trying to cancel me forever. Yeah. Who's canceling who here? How can J.J. Rowling be genuinely happy to cast wife beater Depp in a film? And here's his other commentary. J.K. Rowling is Hollywood hypocrite for standing by Fantastic Beasts star Johnny Depp, despite allegations that he abused ex-wife Amber Heard. You see, he wanted him canceled, and he wants to whine now that he's the one that's been in the crosshairs. Man, screw that guy. Such a loser. Batgoat, thanks for the 10 there. Only $999,990 to go. Let's make Doug a millionaire. Indeed. Ingrid, thanks for the 10 there. Hey, I don't know if I miss you read it, but I sent you a super chat that Amber Heard's makeup palette only came out in 2017, and the bruising she had looked suspiciously like Botox. Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday with the Botox injections. Yeah, they very much do. They also there are other bruises too on her face. It's not just Botox injections. They also she had cheek implants. You can see them pretty prominently as well. Her cheek implants. If you combine both of those two things together, it definitely looks like what she has going on. Yeah, I agree. I very much agree with that. Cajun Girl, thanks for the 5. My problem with Barrymore show is saying it's okay to laugh because they're airing it in public. What other choice did JD have but to make it public? Well, and that is a very good point. Not only did they air it public, but he fought to make this public because he knew otherwise that the media is just going to spin it. Like the media has become the arbiter of truth. They become the ones that pretend that they deserve to tell you how things are playing out. And it's trash because they lie, and they lie quite a bit. But you see this, okay? Here's the Johnny Depp handle. And then they come back finally. Now listen to how they respond to Adam Alden being suspended. Oops, this one. So the relevant team has now looked at your account, and I can tell you that your account was suspended due to multiple violations of our private information policy. He posted, by the way, 2016 or 2018 discussions. And what they were doing is they would false flag him for emails and whatnot that were shown in there. That, again, these are public documents. So they were false flagging him for public documents, and they took him down for it, which is absolute trash. They knew better, but they didn't care. As you do not have an email linked to your account, you would not have been notified by this, but instead, you've received a prompt giving you the reason for the tweet being bounced and requesting that you delete the tweet before being able to access your account again. So they're telling him here that he should have been able to just delete something and let it go, right? He's never been flagged before. This was the first time he ever got hit. And they're telling him, you should have been able to delete that there. You should have also have received a prompt upon the subsequent suspension, which also would have given you information on how to appeal. There is no appeal record, but I've had the team review in light of our correspondence. This has not been successful. So you should have gotten an ability to appeal as well. You never got to appeal, apparently, but that's okay because you know what? We decided that it doesn't matter. We're going to fucking suspend you anyway. This is a lawyer talking about a case that he's on. But since the people running the platform over there, since they're all, it's all simpery and bullshit. Like I said, if you want to hold up Elon Musk and pretend that he's fucking some savior riding in to save your free speech, that's on you. But he's not. He's not. He backs groups that fundamentally oppose free speech. They believe in censoring speech because of politics. That shouldn't fly on either side of the aisle. I don't care what you agree with. I don't care what your political stance is. That should not be, that shouldn't be, period. If you believe that, you definitely don't believe in free speech. That's for sure. If you believe in my speech, but the other speech that I disagree with is some type of hate, yeah, you don't believe in that. I would even go further. I've talked about I hate the easily offended crowd. I absolutely hate it. And I'm getting some of that attracted to me on Twitter because I cover this. And like I said, I appreciate people following, but they need to understand that I blame people that are like that. I blame them for a lot of what happened because you couldn't even talk about this case without people trying to flag you and do other nonsense. And it wasn't just the simps out there. It was other people saying, how dare you talk about false allegations? How dare you talk about men too? How dare you bring this stuff up? They censored this conversation to the point that it was almost impossible to talk about. Johnny Depp, thanks for the 5. Amanda D. Cabernet texted Amber to make sure to have the pictures and to use the Amica cream for swelling. So she had it in 2016. The pictures. She had the Amica cream, the Arctic cream. Spectre 101, thanks for the 5. Well, they're talking about the, the makeup palette. Again, that's what the discussion was about, the makeup palette. Hey, Tug, when will the JD for AH trial be over? What will happen if Johnny wins? I've never seen a court trial live or been in one. 6 weeks is what we're talking about here. So it's supposed to be a 6-week trial. You also, what'll happen if JD wins? Woo wee. You're talking about in the court? What you'll see is appeals, first of all, but they'll make a decision on damages and everything else. There's 3 components to this. That one of them is the most worrying. First of all, is the op-ed about Johnny Depp. They've proven that. Is the op-ed damaging to Johnny Depp? I feel that they've proven that. Christian Carino said by himself, $25 million was lost for one movie, $25 million for another. There's $50 million by itself. Then you have to ask, was Amber Heard, well, first, was Johnny Depp an abuser? Was there mutual abuse, or was Amber Heard the abuser, or was there no abuse? Okay. If any of those are answered, but if they side any way except for saying that Johnny Depp was abused, then you have a problem, because Amber Heard does have the free speech to talk about this stuff if it's considered a statement of public. I think they call it safety. I think it's a public safety consideration. Then you're allowed to talk about it because, again, saving everybody from an abuser, you can do that. But that's the one thing. Now, if the jury sides with Depp, they're saying that she burned his life down and she did it with false accusations. That's what they're noting in their decision. That will have extreme ramification for her. One thing that I worry about, again, is this is a precedent-setting type of decision. You're not talking about something that men don't get justice. Like, let's just be fucking real about it. Men do not get justice. For false accusation, holy crap. The court is leveraged against people in this situation. It has always been. So, like I said, it's a mess. Eugene Knight, thanks for the 2 video. Channel, the makeup is evidence. Yeah, I did a video on that myself, talking about how she got busted with the makeup thing. They brought it up. They brought it up early on, and yeah, I mean it's a huge talking point in this case, and it's an important one too. Snuggle Struggle, thanks for the 5. It's common for people to using Botox to bruise afterwards. Depp's lawyer should file to find out when she received facial alterations, likely the cause. I mean, that would be good. In the moment, hopefully they already did that. Yeah. And when they're talking about the Botox things, again, you can line up her pictures and you can line them up with Botox injections. Let's see. Injury. Line them up pretty easily and tell. Give me 1 second. I'll pull those up. Botox. Well, I said injury. I need bruising. And there's specific ones that very much fit her facial stuff. What's telling? I have to pull up the Josh Drew stuff real quick. It'll take just a second to load because it's his witness statement has hundreds of pages of other trash on it. It's like lies, and it takes a minute to load all those lies. But in that is a lot of truth that he didn't mean to upload. Like, he uploaded we got that conversation with the knives in it. That's how we got that, because Josh Drew actually added it to his witness statement, which I thought was fascinating. He added that in his own text. Justin, thanks for the 5. Do you think Amber will cry? Yes, on the point. Why does she keep staring at the camera? It's weird. She's looking over and she's not trying to stand. Stare rather. She's trying to emote. That's what makes it even worse. She's trying to emote for the jury. She's looking at the jury. She's trying to get them on her side. And yeah, like that's how bad of an actress she is. Okay. I mean, that's pretty awful. Like when you get down to it. And Susan, thanks for the 20 there. Thank you for being you. Hey, thank you for being you and being here. Thank you all. I appreciate that. DL, thanks for the 2. Why lawyer went on and on about JD's hands being dirty? They bring up the weirdest stuff. They want to bring up the fact that somehow, in some way, that he's an abuser. They'll do anything to make him try to sound like an abuser. All right, so I've got this. Now I want to show you the pictures of her and the comparison. So I'm gonna bring up these things side by side. Okay, so I will bring up, these are her pictures. All right. Like, again, you see her eyeball here, especially like this mark. Now, her pictures are terrible. They did that as intentionally. But look, here, see this one? And you see this one right here. It's my favorite. Here, 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 here. Wowee. Tip, thanks for the 5. What do you think? He lost the UK trial. Why is it so different? Because in the UK trial, she was a witness, and the judge decides whether or not you can take somebody to task. The judge was full on. I think the judge was in the pocket. Like, there's some, first of all, let's talk about discrepancies with the judge. First of all, the judge, his son worked with Dan Wooten, who was one of the 2 places being sued. You had NGN, and the person who wrote the article, you had Dan Wooten. He worked with him. His coworker, friendly. Also, the guy who owned the firm that Amber Heard's lawyers worked at, the judge, first of all, used to work at that firm, but also he had a good relationship with the law firm there, to the point that he had co-written a book with the owner of that law firm. Making it even worse is that Amber Heard would go out on Hollywood political type of fundraising, and the judge's wife was prominent in those scenes. So they had all of these overlapping connections, which should disqualify you. That's a problem. On top of that, so the judge, he has to give permission for you to take her to task. She can allege 14 incidents, and she could say whatever she wants. And Depp's team wasn't allowed to try to debunk any of that stuff, to say, well, this right here, this is a problem. She and her sister were caught in one of their incident discussions, screwing up the timeline so badly, both of them. You could tell that they had colluded on a timeline that didn't exist, because both of them had it wrong in the same places. They both ended up coordinating and colluding and switching the timeline off. She talked to her sister. You could absolutely tell this would be a witness talking to another witness, and the judge would not allow them to ask questions or to really take her to task for that. So the Virginia judge even said that Johnny Depp didn't receive a fair trial, because he wasn't allowed to essentially take any of her claims and tear them down. That was one of the things with this trial that makes it, it makes it go with that. Chicken Canada, thanks for 279. Please show my AH face marks vid, please, Tug. Actually, people should check out your channel, period. Why don't you go over and check out Chick in Canada? That's Chick in Canada. CHICK in Canada. Check out her videos on her channel. She, like a lot of other channels, have taken it on the chin when it comes to their coverage, because the platform doesn't like people that are not pro a certain side. So if you look at this, though, I think that helped more. If you look at this, though, like I say, we've talked about this before. That's very. I mean, when you do side by side comparisons, like how can that not be? It's nuts, isn't it? Look at that there. Hey, what do you think about this? Hey, come here. My wife just walked in. Hey, come here. Like, you see this injury picture?
What injury?
No, but look at that. You see that right there? Yeah.
That's an injury? It looks like a star.
Actually, this is a Botox injection site.
Oh, is it? Is that what that is?
Well, this is on another lady. This is a Botox injection site. This is one of her pictures trying to say that she has an injury. Do they not look?
It looks like she has a star on her arm.
That's what I said too. Actually, what do you think this is?
What?
Here, let me show you a picture right here. What does that thing on her lip look like?
Herpes?
That's what I keep saying. I keep calling it Little Franco. That's what I'm saying. Like, she spent a little too much time with James in the freaking elevator. She had a herpes outbreak. Oh my God. That's what I've been saying forever. That is herpes. That
That's
is.
what it looks like. It looks like cold sores.
Yeah. That's what I'm always thinking. It's so gross.
Now, to be fair, 80% of the population has cold sores.
That ain't cold sores. That's James Franco. Like I said, you spend a little time, a little James Franco now and then. Actually, I should be singing that. Let me sing this one. That's a good song because this is a warning for you. A little James Franco now and then is worse for any woman's skin. Use holy water and penicillin, please. Do what?
I feel bad for your chat.
Why?
Because you're torturing them.
Well, am I awesome singing? You think that's torture? These people love my singing. They love it. I only lose like 50 people when I
At
sing.
least you're torturing them and not us. I'm good with that.
It's just like, I feel bad for the chat. You can torture with singing. I was like, no. It's with the soundboard. They can't hear how off tune I really am. Look at them. They're telling you they love my singing. Look at that. Look at all that. Look at all that encouragement. Here's one that says, I don't know what you mean about a cat and its death throes. Cats don't sound that bad. No, wait, that's not what it says. Oh, Lord. All right, you go back. All right, I'll see you later, man. I'm almost done. Oh, she brought me some cherry Cokes, actually. Yeah. I'll eat things for the vibe there. Her cheek has a small hole in a May 21st pic, and nearly all of them must have gotten a cheek filler injection that day. Yeah, I mean, if you look at so many of these, like she has these marks that, I mean, when you get down to it, okay, if we take all the filtering away, though, for real, if we take all the filtering away, I want to show you what the police saw. Like the police said, I saw a woman with red cheeks and red eyes. You know why they saw that? Because she looked like this. This is what the police saw. And they were saying that this is not an injury. I see a woman with red cheeks and red eyes, and you can tell, like, look at her eyes. It looks like she's been trying to make herself cry. If you rub your face, like you could do this very easily. Like you do this to yourself without any, and this is a person with a history of cutting and self-harm. Again, what that tells you with her types of cuts, she wasn't trying to kill herself. She was trying to, it was attention seeking behavior, and again, that's no value judgment on anyone that does that. It is what it is. It's wanting attention. It's wanting people to see what you're doing. This is the same kind of stuff. It could be that. And also with her diagnostic criteria we talked about before, smacking yourself in the face a few times. Threatening, if you leave me then. Remember, she said in her messages to Johnny Depp when he was going to leave, when she sent this stuff over, she said the only reason she made these claims is because the lawyers told her to. And he could decide how this goes forward. You know, he could leave or not leave. That would be his choice. She wanted $14.2 million tax free, free and clear. That's what she was asking for. Yeah. What is thanks for the 2? Sing it. That's right, you know. Oh man, that's exactly what I say. Sing it, baby. Sing it loud. Amber Heard is a monster. I love that sound effect. There's one other one I like too. I like this one. Let's see, it's called Blocks. Amber Heard is a monster. She's got the herpes outbreak, baby. I like that one too. Oh, back go. Thanks for the 2. Thanks for the microphone in that as well. Drop that microphone is what I'm going to do. I'm going to sing into it and I'm going to drop it. Big surprise. Thanks for the 5. Most of her marks I've seen on the right side of her face. Pretty sure JD is right-handed. If he backhanded her, I'm sure the rings would have done more damage. That's true. Let me show you though. Let me roll off of that picture too. Like again, you know, all of this supposed stuff that he did. Like look at their damages too. Oh, look, it's a picture of her and her friends. You know, of course. There's actually a debunking thing by Andy that talks about all of this stuff too, and the fakery that comes from those pictures, like how this is actually faked pictures. Yeah, he has one that I need to cover with that too. I wish Tug was part of JD's team or even the jury. Thanks, Rainwater, for the 2 there. Oh man, I could not be non-biased in this stuff for sure. I couldn't look at it because I've covered it so long. Yeah. Adriana, thanks for the 2. I think it's damage. Can I send a link? You can send you can email it to me and I can look at it. You know, it's granularheaven@gmail.com. Inspector 101, thanks 5. How do I get auto tune on Mac? Well, there's a program that you can use. It's actually called the thing I use is Voice Mod. All right. Voice Mod should pay me too. Voice Mod, you should be paying me for this. Yeah, because I know I've sold at least like 12 or 13 copies of Voice Mod because people like it. But no, you can go on there. They have an online soundboard and you can use it for free. But if you pay like it's between 30 and 40 bucks, you can unlock everything on it. And it's worth unlocking. So for you get a lifetime use for like 30 or 40 bucks. So I think that's amazing. I've gotten my money's worth just playing around in the last few weeks. So thanks for the 5 there. JD wears rings. Surely there'll be ring marks on her. If he did hit her, as she claims. Yeah, you know, it's not just that. She didn't get any medical attention at all. Like again, dragged me through glass, violated me with a bottle, but you didn't need medical. Like, how's that work? You're real right. Thanks for the 2. 10 out of 10. Best singing. Also, you skipped my previous. Oh man, I missed one. Sorry about that. I'll catch it in a minute. Johnny GT2. Thanks for the 5 there. What's down the line of refrigerators? I love that umbrella guy. You know that clip I play. I love that umbrella guy. That was actually so. We went to Matsuri like a few years back, and that's what. In the intro, that's the clip I play. Like this one, like it's funny. You had all of these celebrity, like in the manga in anime or Japanese entertainment, and our turnout. Like this was when people were arriving. We haven't even gotten started yet. So this was them. Check it out. Hey, we love that umbrella guy. All right. We didn't have miking or anything on it. That's the kind of, these days, like that's the kind of turnout you can have for it. My kid and wife go nuts hearing their modulated voices. It's a lot of fun playing with. Deja Builds, thanks for too. Did you hear Amber sacked her PR team? I did. I think I'll do a video on that in the morning because I know a little bit more about that than's been discussed. Actually, I know like a lot about. Well, I know some fascinating things behind the scenes about all of this stuff. I know about the way some of this stuff happens. It's just it's some fascinating things that you hear. It's been interesting. Like this case again. This is the most wired in I've been to any coverage. I mean, I know about the comic industry because I've talked to a lot of pros out there and whatnot. But this, like I said, this is the most wired in I think I could ever be because I've made a lot of connection with it, and I'm glad. I'm glad that I could connect and talk about everything on there. Let's see. I think okay, in the morning we have Amber Heard take the stand, like I say. So what I'm going to do now is I think I'm going to call it a day. I think we've done enough tonight, and then tomorrow we will pick up our coverage. We will actually pick up on the case. I think that'll be good, fun to do. I'm gonna make a video though on the team, and I'll drop it probably at 7 in the morning. That way that'll be my time. The case I'll start picking up coverage about 8:30, so it'll have an hour and a half to spread. Get here, we'll talk about it, we'll have fun with it, but that's how Master Farm, thanks for the 5. How am I not surprised, by the way? Can you do a video with Clownfish TV? I would. I like Clownfish TV. I actually like both of them in there. I've talked to them on Flashcast and stuff. But yeah, I mean, if they want to do something, we could always do something together. I like both of those folks there. So I do. I like them both quite a bit. Lilith, thanks for the 5. I'm not at all surprised that JD's Twitter was shut down. Elon Musk just bought it. AH as him by the short and curlies. Yeah, well, even before any of that stuff, they had already targeted and were ruining JD even before it. I mean, it's just nuts. Jenna Lee, thanks for the 3 there. AH under direct will be straight to video content. Indeed. Indeed. 13 speed. Hey, what's up, my friends? Good seeing you, man. Thanks for the 50 there. Thank you for that. And the rocket. Whoosh. That's the way I like. I believe I could fly. Yeah. Tay-T, yeah, thanks for the 20 there. Go. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. But I think I'm gonna start my, like I said, coverage. Yeah, you're getting some spam bots. We get them there. I turned the thing off, but it looks like it reverted for setting for some reason. But anyway, if you haven't subbed to the channel. If you haven't checked out our comic, check out our comic for sure. We're $25 off of a giant milestone at 130K, one comic sale. So if you want to check that out, if you want to be that one, thank you for that. And also, we've made a bunch of shirts and stuff. I made a Mega Pint shirt. If you want to check any of that out, all profits for that this time, they go to that thing that certain Aquaman starlet might not know about, a little thing we call charity. Now, I'm going to end with something fun. I'm going to end with the Hammer song because I love that Hammer song. If you haven't heard the Hammer song, by the way, there was a guy who I got to have a little fun time on. It's going to have profanity and stuff. If you have any problem with that, just warning you right away. But I had a little conversation with a guy who, well, amongst other things, he told my wife she should kill herself. And, I decided to have a conversation with him because he's a piece of garbage, and it was funny, and it was fun, and somebody set it to music. So I'm going to pull it up, and we're going to play it. I always loved playing that one. That's Finatra that plays it too. Finatra. You should definitely subscribe to his channel, but get you a little bit of that Hammer song. I love this freaking song, by the way. Like, it's funny. Like, you could have your stuff set to music. Like I said, you don't like profanity and stuff. That ain't your bag, but you can have fun with it otherwise. I saw one other super chat too. Aussie Rose, thanks for the 5. Why is it the woman not in jail for their injuries she caused to Johnny? This would at least be a charge of grievous body damage. They were in Australia. It should be. It should be It should be, but it's not. All right, let's get this going though. You ready for this? I'm ready for it. Let's play it. Here we go.
Technology.
You know who these people are? You guys are all the same. You are not clean. You have no backbone, no spine. None of you. Like I said, if you ran into me in real life, you would be afraid. You would not pull this shit in real life. What did you say about my wife? What you said? You know, you wouldn't say that to my face, though. Again. But you fucking think that you can hide behind a keyboard. I know who you people are. If you ran your mouth like that in real life to me, I will beat you with a fucking hammer. Motherfucker! And I'm not kidding about that. I'm the kind of person that you should be scared of. You are not fucking man enough to step to my fucking face. And no, you listen to me. I don't fuck with your families. I don't do any of that shit.
Did I say that?
Yeah, you fucking my fucking God, dude. Show me the post right now.
Did I say that?
Show me the post right now. My fucking God, dude. You would not do that shit to my face. So again, you need to think the fuck about what you do online because it has real fucking world consequences. That's the thing. I'm a better person than you because I don't come to your home. So I'm a better person than you. You people know that I care about my family. So you think that's my weak spot. My weak spot is my temper. I will beat you with a fucking hammer. Think you're a big man? That's what you people don't understand. Internet crosses over into real life, bud. And when you guys cross over into my fucking real life, you expect me to sit here and be calm and fucking just take it. And I'm telling you, the only reason that something hasn't happened with that shit is because I will beat you with a fucking hammer. Think you're a big man? You know, no. You ran your fucking mouth. You're like a punk bitch. You just a punk bitch. You just a punk bitch. Dude, you came on here running your goddamn mouth. Punk bitch. You're a bitch. Punk bitch. Bitch. My fucking God, dude. And I'm telling you right now that you're a bitch. Hey, I'm serious, man. I'm serious. Like, if you were to step to me in real life like that, I would fucking beat you with a hammer.
That is some G shit, son. You're fucking G.
You have your stuff turned into. People turn your rants into songs. Fun times, man. A lot of big people online, though, aren't there? Man, I'm gonna get you. Yeah, right. You're right. You stepped to it then. A lot of big talkers out there. A lot of big talkers. I told them there. You know, the whole recourse was we've been in a few conventions. We'll be at another one. You know exactly where we'll be, but you know. Let's get some sexy toast now. How to pull it up. Finding sexy toast. There it is. Here we go. Sammy, what's that? Sammy BH77 mentioned the crystal method for that. Actually, I met the crystal method one time. It was really funny. I went to a concert and I was trashed. I was trashed. And these other guys they were trashed too. Like there was two guys that just ran into their randos. You know, you kept running into people having fun. Well, there had been so much, let's just say, illicit drug use that the place no longer would give out like glow sticks or anything else. They shut down buying. Well, I had I had a bunch of them on me. For some reason, I had a bunch of it. I know what reason. It was because I was trashed, and they were fun to play with. Well, anyway, these guys came up and they were like, I mean, like I said, they were on some heavy stuff, and they were asking if I could have some, and I was like, yeah, yeah, sure, because I was in a great mood. I was having fun, and they came back to me later on, after because we had all these people back, we were goofing off, having fun, like I said, Crystal Meth puts on a good show, and they had won backstage passes. There was when the Crystal Method album first came out with that particular song you mentioned on it, they had done like a pass win inside the albums. You play and you could win. Well, these guys had won backstage passes, but they were so just blitzed that they couldn't handle it. And since I'd given them glow sticks, probably 27 cents worth of glow sticks, they gave me their backstage passes. So I thought that was pretty kind of awesome there. So that made for a kind of a fun day. Anyway, how trash were you? I was very trash that day. I was very trashed. I can't remember like all of the illicit substances that I had consumed. Don't do substances, kids. But I mean, I I won't lie about it. I was really jacked up for that day. Like I said, I had glow sticks on me. Like I must have been. But it was funny, the 27-cent glow sticks that I had in my pocket that I gave some people, 27 cents worth of them, rather, probably. I think they were, God, like 8 cents a pop. So, with some tags, I gave them both like 3. So, like I said, with tags, probably 27 cents in glow sticks for each one of them. And we're good to go after that. But anyway. All right. Well, tomorrow, like I said, coverage kicks up again. So, yeah, I see the bots coming in. What time am I starting? 8:30 ACT. I also will put up a video probably in the morning at 7:00. So if you're up and about, share it. Make sure they explode in the morning if enough people hit them fast. So, I mean, if you want to catch it, it'll have a good hour and a half to roll before the trial. So if you want to do that. And then Amber Heard may take the stand tomorrow. I'm going to put it in my title. So, yeah. Anyway, all right. We're out of here. Appreciate the heck out of you folks. Bye there.